offer both walk-in primary care and urgent care. So find the MyCare location nearest you at wakemed.org. Walk right in, and for just about anything from asthma, rashes, and examinations to x-rays, labs, and vaccinations, make MyCare your care.
Ask yourself what you will miss more, your children or cigarettes. As long as I can remember, my mother smoked. She died from lung cancer when I was 16. I could not take the chance of continuing smoking and not being here for my daughter. I know how much I needed my mom still, and I didn't realize it until I had lost her.
You're not just quitting for yourself. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a WRAL weather alert day for showers and thunderstorms that will be developing as we continue through the afternoon and evening. A few of those storms could produce some wind damage and some flooding. We'll see a high of 88. Mid-70s tonight, storms diminish but return tomorrow afternoon with the same threat for severe weather. We'll see a high of 93.
3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 295 points today to 51,850. This hour of The Drive is brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today.
Deep left corner of the end zone! Jalen Coker hauls it in for a touchdown!
Off the back iron, Wilson comes soaring in to dunk it home.
Copeland jabs on him a couple of times. Step back three-pointer, left corner, swish.
One dribble out for Boozer for 3. Big time!
And the Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gordon is filling in for me, which, by the way, he was planning to be there today anyway. You know what they say, Max? Next man up mentality. Next man up mentality in sports. That's the approach we're taking today. I was already up, I guess. Well, yes. No, I'm still up. You are. Next man up mentality. That's what we're doing here today. Max, there's some pretty interesting things from ACC kickoff I want to get to today. By the way, we will have a Monday sound off at 4:15. So as you're safely, navigating the rainfall coming down here in the Triangle, which we still desperately need. As much rain as we've gotten this month, we still need a whole heck of a lot more. I'm excited to see, Max, what the ACC polls are going to look like, the preseason polls, the preseason team rankings, which, by the way, I get a chance to vote, as does Tim Donnelly, on these preseason polls and such. I'm really excited to see, after ACC kickoff, who the media thinks is going to finish atop the conference, second, third, and all those kinds of things. It feels pretty wide open. We're going to dive more into some of the ACC stuff, including some sound bites from UNC wide receiver Jordan Shipp that I found really interesting from this past Friday, Max. But until then, we got to get to the big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
The Big 3 at 3 presented by Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Visit Maynard Service Company. Maynard Service Company. Give them a call. Also visit MaynardServices.com. Well, again, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Number 1, Max. We have a world champion. Spain. Spain world champions. Max, I made this comparison earlier today when I was sitting in for Adam Gold. Everything that has been used to describe Spain and this World Cup run for them, which, by the way, they gave up 1 goal. 1 goal Spain did in 8 games. 1. That's it. They didn't have, like, the big top-of-the-line superstar. No Lionel Messi, no Kylian Mbappe, no Erling Haaland, no Harry Kane. Like, these guys that we know can put the ball in the back of the net, right? They didn't have that, but they still had a lot, obviously, of great players. But it was the complete team game that won it for Spain. And I keep hearing that. You know what? I just kept thinking of, Max, Carolina Hurricanes. That's the first thing that popped in my head was, like, everyone, how they're talking about Spain's win just reminded me of the Carolina Hurricanes and their Stanley Cup run, including Herculez Gomez, ESPN former U.S. men's national team member. What impressed him about Spain's run?
Portugal came across their road, and it was easy work. Belgium came across their road, very light work. And then after that, you get a team like France, who was, well, in everybody's eyes, the favorite in this tournament, and they dominate France with the ball. And you're thinking, okay, how about the final? How about with a player like Lionel Messi? How about with a player who's the all-time great in this sport? And they do it again. Argentina was pitiful, disgraceful, whatever adjective you want to use in this game because of Spain and how dominant they were with the ball. They never let Argentina into this game. They dictated play, and finally, football won. When they had to win the game, they did what was necessary, and they put Argentina to bed. But I'm most impressed with how dominant they were. Defensively, only 1 goal against, and it's not like it's just the defenders we're talking about. A complete performance for a team that has stars, but didn't have 1 single star, if I'm being honest, in this tournament. It was a team effort. Collectively, they were unbelievable.
That's describing the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
The defensive emphasis kind of, too, for them, like, kind of fits. Maybe not as much the Hurricanes this year, as they were one of the better offensive teams the Canes have had, but every other narrative about the Hurricanes, mostly true as well, but just lines up almost 1-to-1 with what you hear there. Like, Rodri, to me, for Spain, like, kind of is a little bit like Slavin, just that defensive force back there that is considered, world-class, one of the best. And he basically, they call it completing football by winning the World Cup. And now he's won the World Cup, Premier League. He's won the Ballon d'Or. He's won the Champions League. He's won basically everything that there is to win as a professional soccer player. So shout out to Rodri from Man City.
They were Euro champs in 2024 as well.
Yep, Euro.
So anyway, just everything I heard about that Spain team is like, oh yeah, that just reminds me of the Carolina Hurricanes. You got to have the best team, not the biggest star, but the best team. That's number 1 of the Big 3 at 3. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2.
The Big 3 at 3 here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Scoren producing the show. Big 3 at 3 presented by Maynard Service Company. The second one, Max, not only do we have World Cup happening this weekend, we also have the Open Championship, which, by the way, kind of like we're wrapping up as pretty much as like the World Cup was getting kicked off. The Open Championship roughly around the same time was wrapping up. Shout out to Ryan Fox. Ryan Fox, winning your first ever major. Cameron Young finished in second. By the way, Ryan Fox finished 10 under, winning score. Cameron Young of the United States finished 9 under par. Just 1 stroke back, finished in second place. Cameron Young on the 18th hole in his final round bogeyed the 18. Ryan Fox birdied the 18. There's your difference. And honestly, if Cam Young had just parred 18, and if Ryan Fox had parred 18, Cameron Young is the winner of the Open Championship. But Ryan Fox, again, who birdied 18, finished 3 under on the final 6 holes of his round, including 4 birdies. Ryan Fox was asked if that 18th hole was the best that he's ever played.
Definitely the first part. I mean, I hit 2 shots exactly how I wanted to hit them. I didn't feel anything for the putt. Everything was shaking that much. I was just happy to hit it somewhat near the hole, and to see it go in was incredible. But, I did say to my caddy, Dean, on the tee that we were going to take it on, that I was going to try to win the tournament, and I'd live with the consequences if I stuffed it up. And, to go out there and execute, that drive's not a very comfortable tee shot, obviously. And to hit it in the fairway and give myself a chance was huge. And then I landed on a good number. I think I had 160 meters to the hole. The breeze was a little down off the left. Obviously, everything's a bit jumped up there, so it was just a solid 9. And I hit it exactly where I wanted to hit it. And I think I screamed at it, please be good in the air. And it was. And, to cap it off with the putt, everyone practices on the green, I guess. You've got a putt to hold a major championship or to win the Open. It's not like that in real life. It's not a very comfortable feeling, but it's certainly very enjoyable when you see it go in.
I give that dude a ton of credit for what he said there at the beginning of that soundbite about how he told his caddy he's going for it. Like, we're going for the win, and I'll live with the consequences. Because how often do you get a chance if, again, never won a major before? Never won a major before. You have a chance to step up to the tee box and go, you know what? If I birdie this hole, walking out of here a champ of a major. This isn't, the Waste Management. I'm not trying to downplay the Waste Management, but it's not the Open. It's not. So the fact that Ryan Fox told his caddy, I'm going for it, and then he hits, like you said, put the first 2 shots exactly where he wanted them, and shake it so much, he's just happy that he put the ball close to the hole. Man, you sank it, and you won the whole damn thing. Yeah. Congrats to you, Ryan Fox, once again for going for it. I love how he said 160 meters away because he's from New Zealand, and obviously you're playing in England and all that stuff. I appreciate that. But it's the mindset that separated him. Because someone who's never been in that situation before might, as opposed to play for the win, they'll try not to lose. And believe it or not, there's a difference between the two. Ryan Fox played for the win. He said, I'm going for it, and I'll live with the consequences. Trying not to lose is, all right, let's see if we can get par and at least get a playoff. That's playing to not lose.
It's like Argentina trying to get to penalties in the World Cup final.
Once
they realized they weren't going to get a shot on goal.
Yeah, well, then you're down to 10. There's that too. But that's playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win. He went for it.
Oh, yeah. And
give him all the credit.
I think he endeared himself to a lot of golf fans, too, because he's quick with the pace of play. They had PGA Tour put out a video, like, from the time Sam Burns picked his ball up out of the hole to Fox striking the winning putt, 22 seconds. That's
good for
quick.
him. Good for him. Don't waste it. Don't waste time. You know what your job is. Go do it. Congrats to Ryan Fox. First ever major championship for him. Congrats. $3.2 million. $3.2 million. It's a heck of a purse. All right, that's number 2 in the big 3 of 3. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
Max, we have obviously the NHL season ended about a little over a month ago. World Cup no longer taking place. The Open Championship just happened. Wimbledon has already taken place. We're probably like, man, all the sports are gone. Except the Panthers report to training camp this week, Max. Tomorrow, rookies report for the Carolina Panthers down to Charlotte. Wednesday, veterans report. Also on Wednesday, the general manager, Dan Morgan, will talk to the media, as well as some players. Some of the veteran returners will talk to the media on Wednesday. Then Thursday at 10 a.m., Thursday morning, 10 a.m., the Panthers are on the practice field. They get a little bit of an advantage starting early with training camp, get a few extra practices in because they are playing in the Hall of Fame game, which is on August 6th. Max, August 6th is 2 weeks from this coming Thursday. We're 2.5 weeks away before the Carolina Panthers or players in Panthers uniforms will be playing in a football game. The Hall of Fame game against the Arizona Cardinals. Luke Kuechly, one of the inductees, as well as Larry Fitzgerald, longtime Arizona Cardinal wide receiver, is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame as well. So, folks, if you're worried about a dead calendar in your sports calendar or a dead period in your sports calendar, you didn't have one this year. Fun times are ahead. And as well, Max, we're less than 6 weeks away from week 0 of the college football season, where NC State travels up to Charlottesville to play Virginia. UNC is going to be out in Ireland playing TCU. That's on August the 29th. So we're about just over 5 weeks away from when that begins. Football season's right around. Actually, football season's here. It's July 20th and football season's already here. And we still don't know what's going to happen with Alexander Nikishin. We have about 10 weeks before. By the way, as well, Max, 10 weeks from tomorrow, the Canes drop the puck on opening night, 5 p.m. They raise the banner at 5 p.m. 10 weeks from tomorrow. It's fast. It's coming at us real fast.
Well, we say that now until we have to get through the next 5 weeks or whatever it is, until there's some regular season games going on.
Yeah, that's true. Like, we get some regular season games, but all right, there's still stuff coming out of training camp. Like, if there might be some injuries, but
LeBron will pick a team eventually.
What's that?
LeBron will pick a team eventually. That'll be some story for a few days.
That'll be a thing. I mean, it's already is a story. He hasn't done anything, and it's a story. That's the amazing thing. You can get to the point of popularity, Max, where you don't do anything and you're still the story. Imagine that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. That's the Big 3 at 3, presented by Mainer Service Company. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorham producing the show. Max, there was an interesting little bit of information that came out of ACC kickoff this past Friday, and it came from wide receiver Jordan Shipp of the University of North Carolina. He was asked about staying at North Carolina, as well as being contacted about transferring, even though his name wasn't in the transfer portal. We'll have some of those sound bites and more from Jordan Shipp next.
When you own your own business, you own every decision. Catch the red eye or take the 6 a.m.
Make a new hire or promote internally.
Celebrate a win with the toast at the gate or unwind at the lounge. Big props to this team.
Some decisions are a win-win, like earning 8 times points on Chase Travel. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business, the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, let's paint the scenario here. I need windows, but man, I don't have 3 hours to go through the process of deciding what I need, when I need it. Can you help at the Aluminum Company?
Absolutely. So, first of all, when we come out to your house to look at your windows, typical window appointment may last 45 minutes, an hour. We're certainly not going to make a 4 or 5 hour commitment to talk about windows. We're
I had
there
to
to
serve
help.
dinner last time.
Right. Listen, my wife always says, I talk to my wife all the time when we have salespeople, whatever we're doing. And my wife, I tell her all the time, I can't stand salespeople. And she laughs. She's like, you are a salesperson. I'm like, well, the difference is I'm just having a conversation trying to help people get what they want. I'm not there to pressure you. I'm just there to help you get in and out. And it's a pretty quick appointment. It's pretty efficient. So we're there to help you and make it quick.
I can vouch for that. The Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online at aluminumcompany.com.
Progressive presents the Museum of You. We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then, you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
One of the things I appreciate about ACC Kickoff is the fact that we get the opportunity to talk face-to-face with players and coaches from across the league. And you can really press them on different topics and different, things going on, not only with themselves individually, with their teams, but just stuff across the league or stuff that we might see and hear about in college football as a whole. And as we continue here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan, Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon, Max Scoren producing the show. On Friday, the University of North Carolina was one of several teams that was at ACC Kickoff down in Charlotte. And we did not get a chance to interview Jordan Shipp, the wide receiver from North Carolina, one-on-one, but they have what's known as a breakout room where the players are sitting at tables and media members can go up and ask them questions while they're at their table. It's kind of like a media scrum, essentially. And they refer to it as a breakout room. So I went up to the breakout room because I wanted to ask Jordan Shipp a couple of questions. And a topic came up about him staying at the University of North Carolina because highly touted recruit out of Providence State High School from the Charlotte area, down in Charlotte. And he's now going into his third year of school. And Jordan Shipp was talking about how for example, he doesn't have an agent. So the soundbite we refer to you, are going to play for you, that Jordan Shipp is referring to his mother when he refers to she. So Jordan Shipp was asked about if he was contacted by schools. And he said, well, he doesn't have an agent. His mom essentially acts as his agent. She handles a lot of his NIL and those kinds of things because he said paying an agent is basically a waste of money right now. He said he wasn't draft eligible last season, so there was no point in paying an agent it's basically giving the money away for nothing. So he was asked on Friday when teams started contacting him about possibly transferring. Here's what Jordan Shipp said on Friday.
Probably like halfway through the season, probably like game 7, probably.
And when she hears some of those things, is she calling you like, "Hey, Jordan, just heard from some," or is she keeping that away from you? Like, how is that?
At first, it was definitely like a narrative to get through at first, because that was the first time we ever experienced that together, and it was just more of like, I told her, she was like, do you want to know what the schools are saying? I was like, I'd rather not know until after the season, because that's when you get off track. And she would just agree, and that's just what we did. So she of course, she took the call, she talked to the people, whatever they wanted to do. They wanted to talk to her, she talked to them, but she let them know that I'm 100% focused on the Tar Heels, and that's where my focus is going to be. So I wasn't really too much entertaining anything outside of what we were doing.
So again, the she that Jordan Shipp is referring to is his mother. So his mother was receiving calls. Again, midpoint of the season last year, roughly around game 7, she's getting calls about if he's looking to possibly move on, potential offers and things along those lines. So I asked Jordan Shipp, who were the people that were reaching out? Like, what type of people were reaching out? And he did tell me, he's like, look, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. And I said, I'm not asking you to name names or name schools. I said, was it general managers? Was it recruiting coordinators, coaches? Who was reaching out?
It was like a mixture between position coaches, surprisingly some head coaches, just a mixture of I wouldn't say tampering, just checking on some folks, that's all.
I wouldn't say tampering, but it sounds like tampering.
That's 100% tampering. You have head coaches. So he said some assistants, but he said surprisingly some head coaches. There are head coaches calling your parent, your mother, who is acting as your agent, to figure out, hey, will he come to play for us next year? That's 100% tampering. Absolutely 100% tampering. Do we have that Pat Narduzzi clip, Max? Let me know when we have it up. Because Pat Narduzzi joined us on Friday, and he told a story about how his quarterback, Mason Heinchel, who was a true freshman quarterback last year, about how he was offered, or Heinchel went to Narduzzi. It was during the offseason back in January when the transfer portal was open for people to enter. Heinzel's name wasn't in the portal. And how he went to his head coach, Pat Narduzzi, and told him, hey, I have an offer. And Pat Narduzzi tells us a story about how he's like, don't worry, we're going to take care of you. You're a Pitt guy. You're not going anywhere. Let me make a couple calls. We'll have this resolved here in a couple hours. And actually, Max Gorin, props to you for pulling this soundbite. Here is Pat Narduzzi telling that story about his quarterback.
Well, he came to my office, saying, Coach, you ain't going to believe this. I've got an offer, such and such. And I said, hey, forget about it, okay? Like, have a short memory. I said, listen, you are a Pitt man. I said, give me a couple hours, and we'll get this thing straightened out. I said, you're not going anywhere. You're staying here. You're a Pitt guy. You fit our offense. People love you here. You don't need to be doing all that stuff. So 2 hours later was a done deal, and he tweeted out on Thursday. The portal closed on Friday at midnight. We had him back in, and then they moved right on to that next player, and they ended up getting Duke's quarterback.
They moved on to the next player, and they ended up getting Duke's quarterback. Max, who got Duke's quarterback?
Miami.
Mario Cristobal, you were asked back on Wednesday the process of bringing in Darian Mensah as quarterback.
Well, we were in the market for a quarterback. We felt that the team was really set in so many areas. And when Darian hit the portal, we felt, this is a guy we would love to pursue. Watching crossover tape with so many opponents that we had faced, we saw his level of talent, level of play. And what really, took us by surprise in a great way was what an incredible young man he is. His levels of leadership, care factor, time invested in his craft, football IQ, just natural human IQ, just an elite person along with the guys beside him. So, and we found ourselves also in a situation like in previous years where it was a time to take a portal quarterback. We feel going forward that now we are set in that room from a high school standpoint, with what we have on the roster and what we have coming in.
So yeah, when Darian's name hit the portal, we figured that's a guy worth pursuing. Yeah, you know why his name hit the portal? Is because you wanted him to. Plain and simple. Like, we're not, guess what, Mario Cristobal? We're not buying your crap. We're not. No one's buying your crap. No one's buying that. Not in the slightest. Not in the least is anyone buying that crap. Yeah. You poached the guy away. The guy, who Darian Mensah, by the way, posted on social media, coming back to Duke. I'm coming back. Coming back to Duke. All right, you're coming back to Duke. Then at the 11th hour, and also I appreciate the fact that Pat Narduzzi is actually putting some names to this. I actually appreciate the fact that you might not like Pat Narduzzi. That's fine. It doesn't matter. But the fact that Pat Narduzzi actually called out Miami without actually saying Miami, it's pretty telling. Pretty telling. So yeah, again, Mario Cristobal is not going to basically indict himself and say we contacted Darian saying, hey, you want to come down here? And then he entered his name in the portal and he came down here. Of course he's not going to say that, duh, but we're not buying your crap. Let's be honest, we're not buying it. I know what you're saying. It's a tool move. Because again, we all can sit there and say, you're lying straight to our face. You're lying straight to our face. Plain and simple. But again, to tie it back with Jordan Shipp, that audio, again, let's talk about the tampering and all these kinds of things. It's happening all over the place. It's happening all over the place. So yeah, when college coaches talk about the difficulty of with this kind of stuff going on, it makes sense. Imagine if you're a college coach. Again, I used to coach college lacrosse. I never once had to worry about anything like this. Not in the least. Not in the slightest. About if in the middle of the season, while you're still playing games, getting calls from other schools. Come on. The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. By the way, coming up here in about 45 minutes, we will have a Monday Soundoff at 4:15. At 4:15, we will have a Monday Soundoff. 919-860-5326. If you have thoughts on the ACC, if you have thoughts on what's up with Alexander Nikishin, I mean, nothing's happened. I feel like that price tag, Max, might still be going up and up and up just a little bit more based on what the rest of the league has been doing in terms of signing players. So we'll have a Monday Soundoff at 4:15. But on the other side, we have a Dean's List, and also later on, winners and losers next year on The Drive.
Yeah. Can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
Worried about car repair costs? Relax. Meineke has you covered with flexible financing solutions customized especially for you. For tires, brakes, engine repairs, and more, you can trust Meineke to get you safely back on the road now and in the future with multiple payment solutions available. No worries. Meineke will make it easy for you. Each Meineke is independently owned and operated. Schedule an appointment today by visiting Meineke.com. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
I'm U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. The sound of a seatbelt. It's one of the most important sounds in our car. It means everyone is ready and everyone is safe. The more our kids see us put on our seatbelts, the more natural it is for them to put theirs on too. Make it a priority. Buckle up every time. Hear the sound? Make it a habit.
Paid for by NHTSA.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today.
More Michael McDonald, Max?
It's never a bad time.
Debatable. That's fine. It's fine. You love Michael McDonald. By the way, I ran into your dad at ACC kickoff down in Charlotte. Say hey to him. By the way, he wanted me to tell you, make sure you call your mom.
Yeah, not right now, though. She's on vacation with my brother in Ireland.
He did say that. I was like, how did Max get left out of this?
I got to be here.
That's fair. That's fair. The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Here's the Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. Max, we would have covered for you if you went to Ireland. We would have made it work.
Someone may have to cover. I was talking with a couple of my buddies from the Canes last night, and we're talking about maybe going to Finland for that NHL Global Series.
Yeah.
No one's going to be here. Everyone at the station is saying that we want to go to the NHL Global Series. So I don't know what program we're going to have that week in November, but Somebody's going to have to figure it out.
Well, it's going to be simple because those games are going to be like, 1 o'clock Eastern time? We're just going to play the games. We don't have to worry about shows.
That's true.
That might be the case. Also, that's the week right after my wedding. So I get married on November 7th. So those games are literally the week right after. My fiance and I, we were talking, should we do that for a honeymoon? I was like, that
Honeymoon
sounds
in
really cool.
Helsinki in November.
I'm like, it's also Finland in November. She's like, oh, yeah. It's like, yeah, it might not. But it might be the best chance to possibly see the Northern Lights and things along those lines. But anyway, we talked about it. I doubt it's going to happen. We might save the honeymoon for probably in the spring.
Tickets to the game are expensive.
I could only imagine what the
I think
cost.
they really like Sebastian Aho there, which makes sense. We like him too, but it's like €280 or something. It's pricey.
Yeah, I don't know what the conversion rate on it is on that, but it sounds expensive.
It's like $330 or something.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Max, every weekday, unless there's special things going on, every weekday around 3:30, we do to continue to recognize the fine folks in the college sports world here in the state of North Carolina. We have the Dean's List. Let's put class in session. Max, first one we have here on the Dean's List. This actually just came across my email about 30 minutes ago. North Carolina Central, NC Central wide receiver Chance Peterson has been named the MEAC, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, the MEAC preseason Offensive Player of the Year. Conference announced that earlier today in its annual football media day. Preseason Player of the Year, a wide receiver too, Max. First of all, congrats to Chance Peterson. That's why you're on the Dean's List. But second of all, preseason Player of the Year not being either A, a quarterback, or B, like some sort of defensive stud. I love this. I love this. Believe it or not, more than quarterbacks play football. I love it.
Don't tell Tim Donnelly.
He knows. He knows. He knows. By the way, in all, 10 NC Central Eagles were named preseason All-MEAC. And the Eagles were picked to finish second in the MEAC here in 2026. So there you go. That's the first one there on the Dean's List. Chance Peterson named preseason Player of the Year in the MEAC. The wide receiver from NC Central. Next one up here on the Dean's List, Max. I'm going to throw in Colton Fairs from App State football. Colton Fairs nominated to the All-State AFCA Good Works team for leading through community service, academics, and athletics. So yeah, nominated to the Good Works team, All-State. So yeah, shout out to Colton Fairs of App State. Max, you have anyone you want to throw on the Dean's List?
I've got a couple. We'll give a Dean's List nod to Cameron Young, former Wake Forest Demon Deacon, for the solo second finish at the Open Championship. And then we'll give a nod to CJ Bailey for being you guys' Aura champion of ACC kickoff. Is that the title? Or
yeah, we kind of go with the. Yeah, we need to officially call it that. Like we need to actually officially name it. Because I remember a few years ago, went to ACC kickoff. This before Tim had arrived here, but it was used to be at the Westin Hotel in Charlotte, in downtown Charlotte, and we were there at the Westin and. This is the year that Pitt actually won the ACC, and Kenny Pickett walked in the room. Because back then at the Westin Hotel, where ACC kickoff took place, that everything happened on one floor. So Radio Row, we're kind of on a ground level. You go up escalator. That's where a lot of the TV stuff takes place, where it does now. But back then at the Westin, you had the ACC network set, and then right behind the ACC network set is Radio Row. And then you see the big doorways that go into the conference rooms and all those kind of stuff. So everything happened on one level. Anytime Kenny Pickett walked in the room, everyone turned their heads. Was like, who's that? He was like, wait a second. Commanding the room. Walked in. It's like, oh, that's Kenny Pickett. Now Kenny Pickett was ACC Player of the Year. They won the ACC championship. So, he had a fantastic year. But last year it was like Darian Mensah. This year it was Mensah obviously had some of that as well, but I think a lot of it was also, there's the guy that just left Duke. So there's a little bit of that. But CJ Bailey just walked in, you're like, oh, okay, there's a confidence and swagger about him. But not in a hey, look at me, I'm better than everyone else, but it's just how he carried himself. So I'll throw, yes, CJ Bailey. We got to officially come up with a name on that one. I was trying to think back of some of the names that when guys walked into the room, everyone turned their heads. Kay Klubnik was like that a couple of years ago. Kay Klubnik was like that. Also, really, Jared Verse was also like that too. And of course, he went on to be like a top 10 pick in the NFL. All right, next one up here on the Dean's list. I got probably one more here. Max. We've talked a lot about how Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson, those guys, and how they fared in Summer League. I'm going to throw Quadir Copeland. Back this past weekend playing for the Houston Rockets against the Memphis Grizzlies. Quadir Copeland, 24 points. 24 points to go along with a pair of rebounds, 3 assists as well. Had a couple of turnovers, but 9 of 13 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3. Hit a couple of free throws as well. So, Quadir Copeland, 24 points in 27 minutes playing in the Summer League for the Houston Rockets. I feel like he's primed for like a G League. Is Quadir Copeland? Maybe he eventually makes a roster as like the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th guy. Like down on the bench where if you're going through, a lot of guys are getting rested, the load management day. It's like, all right, Quadir Copeland can come in and play 25 minutes for you on like those 12 games during the season, whatever it might be, that guys are getting rested. I think he eventually could work his way up to that possibly. But Quadir Copeland, 24 points. Led his team in scoring. Anyone else, Max, you want to throw on the Dean's list? Nothing? All right. Class dismissed. You mentioned CJ Bailey, NC State quarterback. Was basically our winner of like the All-Oro Award from ACC Kickoff down in Charlotte. So definitely a winner. Max, I got some losers I got to throw on there as well. Winners and losers coming up here on the drive. Next.
Accidents happen, and they can happen at any age. That's why Chapel Hill Family and Cosmetic Dentistry provides complete everyday dental care for your entire family, from the littlest athlete to adults ready for a healthier, more confident smile.
Oh, nice.
Dr. James Ferguson and his team are here for everything from routine care and cleanings to advanced treatments, so everyone can enjoy a strong, healthy smile. Schedule your visit today at chapelhilldds.com.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar. The better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. So good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Head to Refuel for great deals on all your favorite Pepsi products. Stock up on Pepsi at Refuel today.
Max, again, coming up in about 30 minutes, we will have a Monday sound off here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly. Max Gorin producing the show today. So 30 minutes, we will have a Monday sound off. You want to sound off on the World Cup? You want to sound off on Panthers training camp? Which, by the way, Carolina Panthers rookies report tomorrow to training camp. Wednesday, 2 days from today, veterans report. General Manager Dan Morgan's going to talk to the media, as well as some select of the returning veterans. My guess probably we'll hear from Derek Brown, Bryce Young, maybe Teteroa McMillan, that group of guys. But a lot of the returning players, we'll talk to them on Wednesday. And then Thursday at 10 o'clock, they're on the field. They're on the field practicing in 2 days. Less than 48 hours. Football season's here. It's here. I know, games haven't officially kicked off, but yes, on Thursday, the Panthers take the field to practice, and then 2 weeks from Thursday, they're playing in a preseason game. Now, granted, that Hall of Fame game on August 6th, I highly doubt you'll see Bryce Young, Teteroa McMillan, Jalen Coker, basically any of the starters for the Panthers. But I expect to see a lot of Haynes King. Might see a little bit of Kenny Pickett. But I expect to see a lot of Haynes King. You expect to see a lot of guys. You'll probably see some Chris Brazzell, the second, the third-round pick out of Tennessee. Expect to see a lot of him possibly. You'll see Jimmy Horn Jr. Should see a lot of Jimmy Horn Jr., I would anticipate as well. Maybe some younger guys like a Corey Thornton might get out there and play some too. Will Lee, some of the rookies that they just drafted. I expect, Monroe Freeling, I expect to get snaps out there as well. Now, obviously, you want to protect a lot of your top guys, but you still got to play a game. But it's also an opportunity to get some reps in for some of these younger guys, especially guys that are going to be lower on the depth chart. It's their chance to get live actual game reps. That's 2 weeks from this Thursday. There will be people in Panthers uniforms playing football. It's a fun time. It's right here, Max. Now, do they win? Do they lose that game? To me, it doesn't matter. But what we got to do right now, Max, we got to state some winners and losers.
This team will never lose again.
Max, I got a lot of losers on the list. But I'm going to start with a winner. I'm going to start with one winner. Argentina goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez. 11 saves. He had 11 saves for Argentina yesterday in the World Cup final against Spain. Now, granted, they lost, but his 11 saves are a World Cup record. He kept them in it.
Or a World Cup final record.
A World Cup final record.
Because, didn't Tim Howard have 16 saves
for
the U.S. against Belgium in, I think it was 2014. Another game where that goalkeeper's team lost. But
yeah, but he gave his team a chance.
I think if that game had gone to penalties, they had a very good chance of winning.
Oh, absolutely. They had a legit chance of stealing that one yesterday. They really did. And it's because of their goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez. 11 saves, a cup final record. Which, by the way, he did it with a broken finger. He broke on his right hand, basically his fourth finger on his right hand, and played. He did that early in the World Cup and just kept playing through it. Props to him. Loser, Argentina, Max. I'm sure you probably saw the video after the game, and if you haven't, for you listening, just go on to any social media and just look up Argentina fight. Max, you might remind me who the player was for Argentina when the ref blew the whistle, signifying the end of the game. The Spain players are rushing on the field, and one of the substitutes for Spain as they're running on the field to go celebrate gets like swiped at and like punched in the stomach by an Argentinian player. Like just takes a swipe at him. The Argentinian player does. So the Spanish player, turns around and comes back to him like, dude, what the hell is your problem? Gets in his face, and the Argentinian player gets aggressive, like right back at him and all that kind of stuff. But you want to talk about like, I've known plenty of sore losers in my life. Like sore losers. But if you're going to like lose, like at least lose with some grace and dignity. Same thing with like winning. Like win with some grace and dignity as well. But to take a swipe at somebody because you lost a game.
Yeah, it was Nahuel Molina. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his first name right.
Just takes, again, he takes a swipe from Argentina, just takes a, like, basically like a gut punch, like as the guy's running by him. And then has the gall to get in his face when he responds back. And there's just, Argentinian players are trying to like brawl with the Spanish players and all that kind of, it's bad. It was awful. And I hated seeing it after the game, but it all could have been prevented if you just lost with some class. Hey, you're going to lose games. Guess what? Anyone that's ever played a sport, you've lost a game. Doesn't matter what level you played, you've lost. But have some class. Especially when that guy is just going out there running on the field to celebrate. Didn't do anything to you. You took a swipe at him. So yeah, terrible look.
Yeah.
Terrible look.
Argentina's had some not great moments, I think, in terms of sportsmanship. Like it was either after the equalizer or the go-ahead goal they had against England. Barco came off from the sideline and was like basically running and celebrating like in front of all the England players instead of with his own team, and he wasn't even in the game. So it's like, come on, dude. And then people tried to make it a thing that Jude Bellingham went up to him and basically just like slapped him on the back of the neck after the game. It was like, well, he kind of asked for it.
Yeah, he did. And you know what? I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. Like, you get what's coming. You eventually get what's coming. Max, you have any winners and losers?
I'd say there's a variety of golfers that I'd probably put in the loser category from this week at the Open.
Go on.
Bryson DeChambeau for his various antics. Although I think he kind of responded well, I guess, after he got the penalty. But his antics and I guess, you may side one way or another in terms of whether or not he deserved the penalty on Friday. But it was a bit of an animated reaction. And then I guess he played it off all right afterwards. But it was just a bizarre situation. Rory McIlroy, is just always upset at whatever Bryson is doing. He doesn't need to comment on him all the time. Like, he was calling him performative and everything, which, again, may be somewhat true. But, Rory, just you can give it a rest after a while. And, again, it was kind of another rules dispute with Scottie Scheffler in the final round.
Of course.
There was some TIO relief, or that's basically if you hit it where there are grandstands in a tournament, you can get free relief. And there was maybe some questionable activity in terms of the drop there. I don't know if I'd necessarily put it loser category, but Scottie Scheffler could land there just because he can't make a putt, man. Let's get on the putting green and get some practice in. A couple hours of just sinking putts, and then maybe you can win another major championship. But all the golf drama that gets put in the loser category for me. And we were all winners for getting to watch the World Cup over the summer when there's normally a bit of a lull in the sports calendar. But now we're all losers because it's over, and now we just have to wait for football to come back. Oh, and winners Red Sox have won 13 games in a row.
It's up to 13 now. I knew it hit 11, but I didn't realize it got all the way to 13. That's kind of wild. Yeah, Scottie Scheffler still finished 7 under at the Open. That's the thing.
It's crazy. He's had a kind of mediocre year in terms of the majors, and he finished top 5 in 3 of them.
I would love to be mediocre. If that's the definition of mediocre, I would love to be mediocre.
He set his own standard way too high by being too good, and then when the putts stopped dropping, then he's just like, okay, he's really good, but Just needs to get a couple of those to fall, and then he can get back to winning.
Next year. There's always next year, Max. There's always next year. Winners and losers. Loser, Ward Manuel, athletic director from Michigan. I'll also just throw on Michigan Athletics. Loser right now. So we saw back in 2023, Max, the University of Michigan with their football program and John Harbaugh actually self-imposed like a 3-game suspension for John Harbaugh, which actually the first game of that season was against East Carolina. Harbaugh didn't coach. Because of like the whole, for a lot of people who may not remember this, basically where a staff member, I'm going to say air quotes, like a staff member of the University of Michigan, or basically someone that Harbaugh knows, was going to games ahead of like who that Michigan was playing on their schedule and basically spying in on signals and all those kinds of things on opposing teams on like on their sidelines and all that kind of stuff. Against the rules, illegal, can't do that. So they imposed like this 3-game ban. And then there was stuff with their most recent head coach who took over. Anyway, just all these like terrible scandals and things along those lines. Like their offensive coordinator back in 2023 was apparently getting access to like kids' like laptops and all that kind of stuff. It was just... But then the University of Michigan says, like, well, actually, we don't have a lot of problem with culture or anything along those lines. What their $12 million internal investigation found, Max. $12 million on an investigation that they spent. And Ward Manuel, the athletic director, is going to be stepping down at the end of the calendar year. So we all heard about all this negative stuff going on with the University of Michigan, with Harbaugh and all this stuff with their last head coach, Teron Moore, and so much more. And you spent $12 million on an investigation, and just to say, oh, yeah, it's actually really not that bad, guys. It's really not that bad. And yet your athletic director is still stepping down at the end of the calendar year anyway. Okay. Losers. But hey, Max, they got a couple national championships out of it. They got one in football and one in basketball. So, hey.
I think they'll live.
I think they'll be just fine. Those are winners and losers. Any other winners and losers, Max?
No, I don't.
By the way,
I don't think so.
Connor Stallions was the guy doing the spying stuff for Harbaugh. Connor Stallions. The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. If you miss any of the show, make sure that you subscribe to the Best of the Tim Donnelly podcast. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, you name it, it's there. Just search for it. The Best of the Drive podcast. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. Other ways that you can stay connected with the show. We also have the 99.9 The Fan app. It's free. The 99.9 The Fan app. Go to your app store, Google Play, 99.9 The Fan. Just search for it. Leave us a nice little 5-star. But it's free. And you can stream and listen to the show no matter where you are. It's a beautiful thing about it. So if you're maybe not on maybe your routine's a little bit off, maybe you're out of town, you still want to tune in and listen to different stuff, got the 99.9 The Fan app. It's free. Take it with you wherever you go. Also, there's YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Just go to YouTube, search 99.9 The Fan, and subscribe. Max, we're about 200. We're just under 300 subscribers away from 24,000. I want us to get to 25,000. I want us to get on 99.9 The Fan's YouTube page. I want us to get to 25,000 subscribers. Because, Max, I feel like when we hit the 25,000 subscriber mark, we're going to give stuff away.
Seems likely
that we're going to give stuff away. And, folks, if you haven't subscribed, first of all, what are you waiting for? And second of all, we got to be able to give stuff away when we hit 25,000. We need you to subscribe. On there, we have the full shows that are streamed live on video. You can interact in the comments section. We have that for you as well. We also have segments from the show that we upload, as well as different podcasts that we have, like, for example, Panthers Playbook, which is myself and Chris Lee from WREL, Adam Gold and his Canes Corner podcast. He has episodes out there as well. We have a lot of other content. I know that Pack Therapy is going to be returning here soon with football season, which I know, Max, you're part of Pack Therapy with Tim Donnelly as well. So we have a lot of different stuff out there that you can subscribe to. And here's the best part all about it, Max. It's free. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. It's free. So access us wherever you are. 99.9 The Fan app. Best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly. Wherever you get your podcasts. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Or visit 999thefan.com. All right there for you. Including we have our every day at 4 o'clock. We have football at 4. And Max, with training camp starting this week, 3 names under the most pressure for the Carolina Panthers. Next on Football at 4.
Squirrels, nail pops, even bullet holes. This is Holly from Roofworks, and those are some of the main things we see that cause roof leaks. It's never a bad idea to stick your head in the attic periodically and check sheetrock on the ceiling and walls. Finding problems early can save you hundreds to thousands of dollars. Roofworks wants to help you stay ahead of the game with preventative maintenance for your home or business. At Roofworks, we don't want to be the biggest, we just want to be the best. Roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Hi, friends. This is Mark Pons from Chapel Hill Tire. I get it. You don't wake up excited to schedule car maintenance. Between work, school, family activities, and everything else life throws your way, it can be tough to find the time. That's why I'm excited to share that our University Place and Crabtree locations are open Saturdays from 8 to 5. Now you'll have one more option for taking care of your vehicle. Schedule your Saturday appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Showers and storms out there this afternoon and evening. Today's a WRAL weather alert day with a chance for some wind damage and flooding. Highs will be in the upper 80s. Mid-70s overnight tonight. We'll see storms diminishing but returning again for tomorrow afternoon and evening with highs in the low 90s.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 305 points today to 51,841. This hour of The Drive is brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. It's time for Football at 4. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin is producing the show. Football at 4 brought to you by John Heister, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Lillington. Get off your keister and come to Heister. By the way, coming up here at 4:15, we will have a Monday Soundoff. So keep the number in mind, 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. You want to talk about Panthers training camp coming up, if you have anything college football related, Carolina Hurricanes, it's your chance. Your chance as a listener. I know you might even be driving around. Depending on where you are, it might be raining. It might be sunny. It's the state of North Carolina. Who knows? I know here at our station right here on Highwoods Boulevard, it's been pouring much of the afternoon. But then it's like all of a sudden here's like this moment of sunshine. And now it's dark and cloudy once again. So, Max, I did tease here three people under the most, my opinion, under the most pressure going into 2026 for the Carolina Panthers as they start training camp, because the Panthers rookies report to training camp tomorrow. Wednesday, we have the veterans report. Thursday, they're on the field practicing. The first thing that popped on my list, and Max, I might just focus on this one name really for this segment. Some people might say the Panther under the most pressure this season could be Xavier Legette. Makes perfect sense. Like, his NFL future is basically on the line, right? If he doesn't earn himself an opportunity, or he's going to have the opportunities, but if he doesn't earn himself being the number 3 receiver for this Panthers team, I don't know if he sticks long-term with this franchise. And major questions if he sticks long-term in the NFL. To be determined. I don't question his work ethic. I don't question his desire. I don't question any of that stuff. The question is, can you actually produce? If you want to say Chuba Hubbard is under a lot of pressure, because we saw Chuba Hubbard last year, didn't have a single game over 100 yards. I think he only had one game of over 80 yards last season. Chuba Hubbard. A guy who lost his starting spot. Now, granted, he was dealing with a quad injury, but nonetheless, he lost his starting spot to Rico Dowdle last year. Now, this is a player who a couple of seasons ago finished 8th in the NFL in rushing yards, but last year was supplanted for the most part by Rico Dowdle about the midpoint of the season. So maybe there's a lot more pressure on Chuba Hubbard, especially because behind him is a Jonathan Brooks who just basically just been injured his first 2 seasons in the NFL. Has had very, very few carries, didn't even play in 2025. Also behind him is Trevor Achane, who is, by the way, I understand that a lot of people pronounce it ETN. That's how it used to be pronounced. But again, it is Achane because his brother, Travis, said that's how their last name is actually pronounced. So that's why I say Achane. Because that's what they say is how it's actually supposed to be pronounced. I digress. So you could say, all right, behind Chuba Hubbard, you have an injured Jonathan Brooks, an unproven Achane, and then also A.J. Dillon, who didn't play football in 2024 at all because of injury and only played 7 games this past season with the Philadelphia Eagles. So there's just a lot of unproven behind him. So maybe a lot of pressure on Chuba Hubbard to carry the load in the run game. But to me, it all revolves down into one person. It's Bryce Young. Like, to me, Bryce Young's under the most pressure this upcoming season. It's, well, yeah, obviously he's the quarterback, but it's not just the fact that he's the quarterback. Former number 1 overall pick, which, by the way, a number 1 overall pick that the Carolina Panthers traded up to get. Remember, they used 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and your number 1 receiver in DJ Moore to go get Bryce Young. So the expectation and the standard is to be a game-changing franchise player. And he hasn't shown that yet. At least not on a consistent basis. Has he had flashes and moments? Sure. But for a number 1 overall pick, can't be flashes and moments. If you look at, like, for example, 188 yards passing per game last season, in the 20s ranking in terms of yards per game last season. The offense as a whole, 27th in the NFL in scoring. Averaging less than 20 points per game. If you look at some of just the advanced numbers as well about Bryce Young, if you look at the players that he targets downfield, okay, we have what's known as intended air yards. So intended air yards it's the average depth of the target, whether that pass is completed or not. So how far downfield is Bryce Young actually looking at targets? All right. Now, again, this is where the target is. Like, when the pass is being thrown, where's the target? Not yards after the catch or factoring in any of those kinds of things. League average, for intended air yards per pass attempt in the NFL was 7.6. Bryce Young, 30th in the NFL at 6.4. So his intended target, on average, 6.4 yards past the line of scrimmage. On average. Now, the furthest downfield, Drake May, 9.1. Matt Stafford, 9.0. Guys like Lamar Jackson, 8.7. Caleb Williams, who was drafted number 1 overall by the Chicago Bears, used for the Panthers pick, 8.5. Bryce Young, 6.4. Now, if you look at actual passes that were completed last season, Max, look at passes that actually were completed by Bryce Young last season. Completed air yards. So passes that were actually caught. How far down past the line of scrimmage those targets were. On average, league average, 5.8. Bryce Young, 28th in the NFL, 4.8. And a full yard below league average on completion. So again, this is what we're talking about. Below average. And people are going to say, what about drops? What about drops? Drops. Max, what about drops? You know what the league average, using Pro Football Reference, all right, for these numbers, using Pro Football Reference, the league average percentage of drops last season was 4.4%. Bryce Young's drop percentage of his wide receivers was 4.1%. So you can't use drops as an excuse. You know who actually had the highest drop rate of any quarterback in the NFL last year from his receivers was Trevor Lawrence at 8.3. You know who's next on that list? Bo Nix at 7.4. Pat Mahomes, 5.7. Caleb Williams, 5.5. Justin Herbert, 5.1. All those guys dropped or had their passes dropped at a higher percentage than league average. So you can't sit there and say, well, what about drops? What about drops? What about drops? They use bad throw percentage as well. Again, using Pro Football Reference. The league average percentage of bad throws. So what's considered a bad throw? Just basically, it's what it is. It's a bad throw. The league average of percentage of throws that were bad throws in the NFL, 16.1%. Bryce Young's average, he was 22nd worst, or he was 22nd in the NFL in bad throw percentage. It was over league average at 16.4. And then you just give, if you want to, like, again, yards per attempt and some of these other standard stats. Again, Bryce Young showing up constantly below league average. Yards per attempt, average in the NFL, 7. Bryce Young, 30th in the NFL in yards. Again, yards per attempt, 6.3. Completion percentage, league average completion percentage, 64.3. Bryce Young, 63.6. Again, below league average. You can't have a former number 1 overall pick be below league average in every single one of these categories I just mentioned. You can't. Go to QBR. QBR, the average in the NFL QBR, like just the average is 50. Bryce Young, 47.6. He was 25th in the NFL. You know what better QBR than him? Tyler Shuck, Jackson Dart, Michael Penix, all had better QBR than him. Is this the makings of a franchise QB? A guy that can, 5 times last season at 200 yards? He didn't throw for 200 yards in back-to-back games at all last season. He went over 200 yards in week 2 against Arizona. He had that big game in overtime against the Atlanta Falcons down in Atlanta. He had 448. He had 206 in the win against the Rams in the regular season. And he had 266 in that game against Tampa to close out the year. That's it. 4 games. Now, if you factor in the playoff game, 5. I'll give you the playoff game, 5. 5 games where you throw over 200 yards? Does that scream franchise QB? Nothing about what I just said to you screams franchise QB. A team last year that went the last 11 games of the season, whatever it was, win-loss. That could barely score 20 points. Max, this is how many games they scored 20 points last year. They had 22 in a loss against Arizona. They had 27 in a win against Miami. They had 30 in a win against Dallas. They had 30 in a win against Atlanta as well. 30 in a win against Arizona again. 31 against the LA Rams. They had 23 against Tampa. Less than half the games this season, last season, they didn't even hit 20 points. There's zero consistency from that offense last year. So Bryce Young and that offense can't be consistent. You can't have 4 regular season games where you throw for 200 yards. Plain and simple. It's the NFL. It's 2026. Nothing about Bryce Young, in my eyes, shows franchise QB. And you have to be able to win games beyond just, all right, let's keep it close and hopefully get a drive at the end. Because that's not a way to sustaining success. Because guess what? You did that 6 times last season. 6 times they won games by 3 points. It's good to know that you could win close, but guess what? You still finished 8-9. And guess what? Your schedule's only going to be tougher this season. So yeah, Bryce Young, you got the most to prove. That's Football at 4, brought to you by John Heister, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get off your keister and come to Keister. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Max Gorham producing the show. Max, send out the back signal. Time for a Monday Soundoff. There it is. Monday Soundoff, 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. You want to sound off? You disagree with me on Bryce Young? That's fine. You want to talk Carolina Panthers? You want to talk a little bit of Carolina Hurricanes? Max, I still don't know what they're going to do with Alexander Nikishin. I still don't know what's going to happen with Nikishin. I just don't know. Talk college football. You want to talk college basketball? Monday Soundoff, 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. Time for a Monday Soundoff next.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.
Oh, yeah, for the 99.9 The Fan app.
Exactly. Listen to your favorite hosts, teams, and live sports action.
The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere.
Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
Yeah. Can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. Get a free oil filter and more during the Celebrate Free event at AutoZone, now through July 27th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. It's that time. Every Monday, 4:15, we have a Monday Soundoff. 919-860-5FAN. 919-860-5326. Call in right now. 919-860-5326. For a Monday Soundoff, you can sound off on, well, just about anything you want to. And we got to start off, Max, with one of our most favorite people. A woman I've got a chance to meet, Linda in Roanoke. Linda, how are you doing this afternoon? How are things up there in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia?
Well, it's really dry, and we could use some of the rain that you guys have.
Well, we need all the rain that we're getting too, Linda, but don't worry. Trust me, if we could share it up there with you, we absolutely could. How are things going for you right now?
It's going okay, considering.
So I understand that you want to sound off on some adult hockey here in Raleigh.
Yes, I have some specific information.
Go on.
This is the NCHL Ironclad League, the Grandis Division, and the Gargoyle team is the team my daughter is on. You know Debbie.
Yes, absolutely.
She played last Friday and almost had a shutout and had a .947 save percentage in her game.
Let's go, Debbie. Debbie from out in Apex, who, by the way, we see her at all the Canes Corner events. She's a massive, huge Caniac. And so Linda's daughter, Debbie, just picked up playing hockey as a goaltender. So she had a .947 save percentage?
Yes. They scored one goal on her in the last 2 minutes. She said it got through her 5-hole because she couldn't get the stick over in time.
Well, you know what? You still only give up one goal and you win and a .947 save percentage. I'll take that any day. Linda, I will take a .947 percentage any day.
I thought that was fabulous. They won 8-1.
8-1. Look at that. Just absolutely crush them. Linda, we haven't seen Debbie in a little while. I haven't talked to her in a little bit. Linda, it's awesome to hear your voice, and we always love and appreciate when you call in. And anytime you call in, we automatically put you to the front of the line. Absolutely, because Linda, you're an absolutely gem of a human being. And we love you, and the fact that you tune in and still listen to us every day while you're out there in Roanoke, Virginia. And I know you're excited to see that your Canes won a Stanley Cup, and to be able to watch that parade and stuff from home. I was happy, and I did think of you during that time, and it was awesome to get a chance to meet you at a game this past season. And hopefully we get you back down for a Canes game once again this coming year.
I certainly hope so.
Absolutely. Linda, you're the best. Tell Debbie we said hello. And honestly, call on at any time, Linda. We love you. Thank you so much for calling in.
I will. Thank you. And you take care. It's good to talk to you.
You as well, Linda. Anytime. I absolutely love Linda. Max got a chance to meet her at a Canes game. She came down. Debbie, went and picked her up, brought her down for a Canes game this past season. I got a chance to meet Linda in person, and it was such a fun moment. It really was awesome. Linda's an amazing human being, as is Debbie. Her daughter, again, she stops by our tent when we're out there at Canes games. She's at every single one of the Canes Corner events at the local as well. And she, like many adults, I know, Max, you and I play men's league hockey, and there are many adults that live in this area that, because of the Carolina Hurricanes, want to try hockey. And I love the fact that Debbie has done it. And I encourage you, no matter what your age or your skill level is, if you want to play a sport like hockey, I fully encourage you to do so. It is never too late to go. If you want to try a sport, to try it. It's the fun. It's the challenge of it all. I encourage anyone to go do it. Do a learn to skate program. Like, it's a fun to challenge. I'm 40 years old. I started playing hockey when I was younger. Because of other sports and other life commitments, I had to stop playing for a while. But I picked it back up about 5 or so years ago, playing hockey again. And I still enjoy the challenge of still trying to get better and playing and all that stuff. So it's never too late to start playing hockey. It genuinely is such a fun sport to play. So that's shout out to Linda out there on Roanoke. Let's go to, as the Monday Sound Off continues here on 919-860-5326. Vincent in Chapel Hill wants to talk a little Carolina Hurricanes. Vincent out there in Chapel Hill. Yeah. How excited are you that, hey, we're 10 weeks away from raising the banner? 10 weeks from tomorrow, we raise the banner.
Yeah, well, there's a big, I think, black mark against the Hurricanes, and Tom Donovan sticking his wife and 5 kids on the Stanley Cup instead of people who actually worked for the Canes, and that one player who had 38 games. I think it's a disgrace, and I'm amazed that the front office didn't fight for this and say, if you do this, we resign. And I hope Brindamore just blooming well resigns and says this. You can't claim you have a culture at a club when the owner does this just because he owns the team. You know, what's all this about Caniacs and that? He doesn't give a tuppenny toss. And when he gave his interview, I forget who to, he wasn't even interested in buying a hockey team at the time. It was only because there wasn't an NFL team there and the Canes were cheap. This guy doesn't care. And I think it's a disgrace. And I hope that there's a way of changing the names on the Stanley Cup, because this is, and I, as a player, I would say if this is the caliber of owner we have here, I wouldn't go to the Canes in a heartbeat. I don't care how many Stanley Cups they may win, because the owner is not for the team. He's just about himself, his family, and a high profile. He doesn't care about hockey. He doesn't care about Raleigh. I bet you he'll move it in a heartbeat. I'm sorry to say that.
Vincent, stay on here real quick. I have a question for you, because you did mention about how like people in the front office and stuff, you know, they should resign and all those kinds of things. It's the number of positions that in National Hockey League, in terms of especially front office, the number is very, very small, and you really could actually put your own career in jeopardy by resigning. Why do you say that they should resign? Because again, these are the livelihoods of these people that not every position that they occupy with the Carolina Hurricanes is open on other teams. It's not an easy thing for people to do.
Yeah, but I've got to believe the general manager, when he heard the owner was going to do this, must have said something, because I'm not really a hockey fan, but you've got to be a doofus not to realize that this would not sound very good with the fans. I'm sure the players don't think anything good about it, and I'm sure the staff don't. So I agree, it's putting these people's it's hard to have, everyone can have principles, but, you know, sometimes it's very hard to, you know, keep them when you're going to put your family at risk. And I understand that, but I mean, this is just just terrible. I mean, just terrible. Well, especially when, you know, and Donovan has nothing to do with it. And I do believe there is a culture with the Canes. Mm-hmm. And Brindamore is a bloody genius. And the fact that Ron Francis somehow keeps him out of the Hall of Fame for players, that's what I've heard the rumors.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything about it. I think it's a disgrace. He should get in as a player and as a manager, you know, a coach. And these things really irk me. I don't care what sport it is. It's you know, you've got to do things right in life. And I agree with your point about the people's livelihoods. But I bet you if you took a silent poll of the players and the people who work for the Canes, I don't think many people would have said Donovan sticking his kids and wife on the cup was, a wonderful thing to do. I mean, that they knew so much about hockey and helped Brindamore with his game plan. I mean, come on. Deary me, why don't we just stick Mickey Mouse on there, you know?
You know what? It wouldn't shock me at some point if that actually would happen. But Vincent, I really do appreciate your time. Thanks for calling. Honestly, I really appreciate your passion on this one.
That might be one of my favorite calls we've gotten.
Absolutely,
he's so wonderfully British. He's calling everything a disgrace.
Yeah, and the doofus was perfect too.
Tom Donovan.
Yeah, so Tom Dundon. For those who I'm pretty sure everyone that's listening is aware, but I want to make sure, just again provide context here, is that the Carolina Hurricanes, the names are etched on the Stanley Cup, and Tom Dundon put his wife and 5 kids on the Stanley Cup. Now, people will say, people have pointed out, well, other owners of other teams have done this too. Like, look back at what the Florida Panthers, when they won their Stanley Cups, the kids of the owners are on the cup as well. Well, in title, those kids actually have a position with the team. Now, granted, I don't know like how much they actually do in those roles, whatever it might be, but those people are employed by the team. Tom Dundon, one of his kids on there is like 7 years old. So trust me, I get it. And Vincent right there in Virginia was also referring to the one player that played 38 games. He's referring to Yoel Nystrom, the defenseman. Yoel Nystrom actually did the math on this last week, Max. Yoel Nystrom actually played 100 more minutes for the Canes this season than Jesperi Kotkaniemi did. Kotkaniemi played in 3 more games. But Nystrom, as a defenseman, played about 100 more minutes than Jesperi Kotkaniemi did this season. Now, the cutoff to be automatically have your name on the Stanley Cup is 41 games. So, Kotkaniemi hit that mark because he played, I think, in 42, actually. And Nystrom played 38, so there's like a 4-game difference. Mike Riley played in 42 games. Automatically has his name on the cup. Nick Delorier got his name on the cup. Now, he did play in 1 playoff game, but if you don't play in a Stanley Cup final game, it's not a guarantee that your name gets on the cup. And Delorier's name is on the cup. I am firmly of the belief that Yoel Nystrom's name should be on the Stanley Cup. I believe. Because, again, he played more minutes than some guys that are actually on the cup. I remember that dude took a puck to the face in a game this season. I think he actually still got like an assist or something in that game. I remember actually seeing Yoel Nystrom in the locker room after he took a puck to the face. There's this massive gash on his mouth. Like, the dude literally took a puck to the face to help this team. And again, he played 38 games this season, and if it wasn't for him stepping in and filling in when guys were hurt throughout the regular season, the Canes don't get the top spot in the Eastern Conference, which helped them in the playoff as well with their seeding and everything and the matchups that they got. It probably doesn't happen. So I 100% get it. So when Vincent and Chapel Hill, everything you're saying, I don't disagree with you one bit. I don't disagree with you one bit. Monday Sound Off, 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. Time for a Monday Sound Off. Let's go to Sean up in Virginia. Wants to talk a little Carolina Panthers. Sean, let me ask you this about the Carolina Panthers. I know you call them frequently here. Where do they finish in the NFC South? First, second, third, or fourth? Where are they finishing in the division?
Oh, man, that's rough. Realistically, third.
Really, third? Why third?
I am one of you. I don't have a whole lot of faith in Bryce Young, man. This is a prove-it year for me.
Mm-hmm.
We talked last week about consistency. I just don't think he's consistent enough to play good football long enough for us to compete against Tampa Bay, who had a bad year last year, kind of a revamped Falcons team. And then, honestly, New Orleans is kind of scary.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. So I know I flipped the question on you, Sean, when you calling in, but I know you want to talk a little Panthers. What specifically Panthers you want to speak on?
Yeah, so I listened to what you were saying about Bryce earlier, and I wonder, and maybe it's because he's from Mullins, is where my dad's from. I spent some summers there. But I want to get your opinion on why the fan base is so forgiving of Bryce Young and his downfalls. When we have a player like Xavier Legette, who had some big moments last year, we do not beat the Jets without XL having, 100 yards, almost 100 yards, half of his production in one game. And I can point to the measurables on that player and say this is why we need to be patient with them, where I can't really do the same thing with Bryce.
All right, so you're talking about how for Xavier Legette there seems to be a little bit more leeway. Is that what you're trying to say here?
Opposite, less leeway from the fan base.
Oh, from the fan base. Okay,
less
gotcha.
leeway for Xavier Legette than there is for Bryce Young.
I think you bring up a pretty good point. I think it really just depends on the fan that you talk to, because I think Sean, I think you hit on a couple of things. Is that you talk about that game against the New York Jets last season? Yeah, Xavier Legette had 9 catches, 92 yards in that game against the New York Jets last year. That 13-6 win. And if you think about in that game against the New York Jets, Bryce Young got hurt during that game. So you had Andy Dalton, actually one that steps in and fills in. I don't know, last season, in 2024 during Xavier Legette's rookie year, Andy Dalton played a lot of the early part of the season because remember Bryce Young got benched. So I don't know if there was just that chemistry that was inherently built in between the two. But I think it really depends on the fan that you ask, because I've talked to some fans who are like, I'm fine with Xavier Legette if he becomes the third wide receiver. If he's the third wide receiver and he can contribute in that way, then fine. But I have seen some, and I think this is where, Sean, I think this is where the media plays a massive factor into this. This is actually where I put blame on a lot of media, is that we've given too much praise to quarterbacks when it comes to like these comebacks and things along those lines. I think there's too much credit given to quarterbacks and comebacks. I remember the overtime win. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what game it was. I think it was against Arizona back in 2024. The Carolina Hurricanes had an overtime win, and
Panthers.
I'm sorry, yeah, for the Panthers. They beat the Arizona Cardinals. It was back in 2024. The Panthers beat the Arizona Cardinals in overtime.
Is that the one with the Chuba Hubbard walk-off touchdown?
Yeah, it was just it was literally just Bryce Young turning and handing the ball to Chuba Hubbard twice. It was a 21-yard run and a 28-yard run, and that was it. That was the drive. But you know what? They give credit. Game-winning drive. Game-winning drive, Bryce Young. There's a game-winning drive, Bryce Young. I remember also in Germany when they played the Giants, when Josie Jewell forced a turnover on the opening possession of overtime, and Bryce Young handed the ball off like 3 times, and then they kicked a field goal. Bryce Young game-winning drive. So I think we get skewed by that sometimes, and I think we get the Bryce magic gets thrown out there a lot. Like, you have to look at the consistency. I've heard literally Panthers fans say Bryce Young sucks, and I've heard literally Panthers fans have one say to me, or several say, that he is him. I'm like, I don't think he sucks, but he ain't him. He ain't him. So it's interesting how you bring that up. Like, some fans are already ready to be done with Xavier Legette. I think a lot of it is, obviously, we saw what Teteroa McMillan did this past season, but also we've seen the flashes and highlights of Jalen Coker, and people are excited about his trajectory as well. I just think that Panthers fans aren't excited about Xavier Legette and his trajectory. But I want to say as well is that, Bryce has had some flashes and moments. He really has. But as you mentioned, Sean, the consistency is few and far between. All right, we got a couple more calls we want to get to. We have a chance to possibly squeeze in even one more. 919-860-5326. Let's go to Reggie in Sanford. Let's talk a little World Cup as well as UNC. Reggie, I know you call him frequently. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing okay. How about you, man?
You know what? I can't complain. We've gotten rainfall. We need it. I'm not going to complain too much. Reggie, let's go. Let's start with Spain. I know you mentioned World Cup. What is it about the World Cup and Spain's win that you want to talk about today?
Well, I was pulling for Argentina. I had my Messi shirt, my Messi jersey. I was ready to celebrate. But as I looked at that game, Spain took 22 shots on goal to Argentina 5 shots on goal. They had a possession 90% of the time to Argentina's 10. it seemed like when Argentina had possession, they didn't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just a well-played game. And the World Cup, in general, it was fun.
It was
really fun. I really enjoyed that. I mean, who would have thought Cape Verde would be the team that we talk about and be the team that we look to see how can they build off of the success. Spain, they're a young team and they won a cup, so could this be a new dynasty?
Could very well possibly. They won the Euros in 2024 as well, and will not shock me if they won it again in 2028.
Right. So I'm just want to tip my hat to Spain. They well played game.
All right, let's go. I know you want to, real quick. I know you mentioned your Tar Heels as well. What do you want to mention on your UNC?
I just can't wait for this season that we score more than 3 points. No, for offense.
You're not wrong.
To just, for offense to, actually have a rhythm, have a sense of purpose, and when we score, we find ways to score again. I really liking the Bobby Petrino hire, and the fact that there's more continuity this offseason because of the transfer portal closing early, so people can grow. So I'm very excited about this season.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you calling in, Reggie. We got one more call we got to get to. I know we're up against it. But, Reggie, I think you bring up a good point about Bobby Petrino and that hire. I think it's a good hire because it's actually someone with, legit, true college coaching experience that actually knows how to coach college-aged players as opposed to what they had in Freddie Kitchens, which, let's be honest, that just nothing ever improved offensively for UNC last season in football. Let's final one here. We have William and Wilson wants to talk a little NASCAR. Fire away, William.
Would have been nice if William Byron would have won last night, but what does it mean to have North Wilkesboro not just get a race back with the All-Star race for 2003, 2004, and then 2023, 24, and 25, but getting a points-paying race on the schedule this year, what does that mean for that community and for the rest of the state of North Carolina?
I first of all, thank you for calling in. I know a lot of people that work out there in the Triad that live out there in the 336. When North Wilkesboro Speedway, Max, you're from that area. You could probably speak to this better than I can.
From Winston. It's a little bit down the road.
It's a little bit down the road, but people in that area.
I pass by there a ton, visiting friends and stuff at App State.
Yeah.
On that drive up the mountain, you pass by where that track is.
You see the grandstand and everything like that, and there's so many years where it just lay dormant. The fact that the racing is back there and on a consistent basis, I think it's awesome. I know people that work in the Triad, and Max, you know this as much as anybody, but everyone out there they get so excited because they feel like part of themselves has returned, almost like they almost feel whole again.
Yeah, there's good racing culture in Winston with they've got Bowman Gray out there and the Winston Cup and all the history there. I think it's good. The state, and sometimes it's used by people from the outside. They almost will talk down on North Carolina because people are fans of NASCAR and because it's kind of a lot of the teams and drivers are located. It's more closer Charlotte and Mooresville and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good. I wouldn't call myself a diehard NASCAR fan by any means, but I like to tune into the races here and there and kind of keep track, especially during the summer right now when the Hurricanes are out and a lot of these kind of big major leagues that we're not watching are off. Well, NASCAR has a race every weekend, and I think the fact that it has a big presence in North Carolina is bringing another meaningful race, especially to that area. Especially when you get further out there west in North Carolina and there's not a lot of big-time sports like that. They've got, App State football and what else is really happening out there in the western part of the state in terms of big-time sports. There's not really that much. So for them to get, again, not only an all-star race like William mentioned, but to get like a real, meaningful points counting race to kind of go along with the Coca-Cola 600 down there in Charlotte, I think it's a good thing to have more meaningful sporting events in the state and to kind of harken back to the culture that we have here in the history.
So it was the Window World 450. Joey Logano ended up getting the win. It gets the first points race at North Wilkesboro in 30 years. 30 years. I know we got to hit break here in a second, Max. But the thing I appreciate about as someone I grew up in Virginia, but I've lived here in the state of North Carolina basically since the 2011, basically 15 years for all intents and purposes. I did have a 1-year stopgap up in Wisconsin, but moving down here, there's things that I've always appreciated, even before I lived here in North Carolina, is that the sports culture in North Carolina, obviously there's a ton of minor league baseball throughout the entire state, whether that's the Winston-Salem Dash, the Greensboro Grasshoppers, the Durham Bulls, the Carolina Mudcats for a long time, and now the Wilson Warbirds. So the minor league baseball, NASCAR, obviously, where I grew up in Virginia, Richmond was really close. Martinsville was pretty close by. I've been to the racetrack at Bristol. I know it's just over the border from Virginia into Tennessee, but I always knew of North Wilkesboro as well as Charlotte because, again, the Coca-Cola 600. So it's minor league baseball been so ingrained. Obviously, college basketball speaks for itself, but college basketball being so big, I always had friends growing up in the springtime. It was always a question of hey, who's going to Greensboro? Because it was the ACC tournament. Who's going to Greensboro? That was always a massive question as well. So anyway, that and then professional wrestling in the state of North Carolina. And I remember even as a kid growing up, I had friends that would go down to the Greensboro Coliseum to go watch the big major events because Greensboro Coliseum was always the place in Southern professional wrestling where the big events took place. It was basically like what Madison Square Garden is to New York City in terms of pro wrestling. The Greensboro Coliseum was that in pro wrestling in the South. So it's just like NASCAR, it's just integrated into the culture here in the state. So yeah, having it there to answer our guy William out there in Wilson's question, I think it's amazing, and I hope it continues to stay that way. NASCAR out there in North Wilkesboro. And points races, not just all-star races, but actual points races as well, stuff that actually does count. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Big thanks to everyone that called in on a Monday Soundoff. In case you missed the conversation with Manny Diaz that we had back on Friday, Max, we're going to play the Manny Diaz conversation coming up here. He dropped some pretty interesting nuggets about the ACC, about the perception of the ACC and what needs to be done in the ACC in order to make sure that multiple teams get into the college football playoff. The conversation from Tim Donnelly at ACC kickoff back on Friday with Manny Diaz coming up.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Jalen Hurts is the most disrespected quarterback of any quarterback in the NFL. It's ridiculous. Sirianni and Hurts, what's going on? Hurts' teammates don't like him as much as they like AJ Brown. I'm walking in the supermarket yesterday. You know what? I looked up to my left, and what did I see? A big Wheaties box with Jalen Hurts on the cover. And I sat there with a smile and a smirk on my face because this guy is going to get everybody this year.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar. The better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. So good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Head to Refuel for great deals on all your favorite Pepsi products. Stock up on Pepsi at Refuel today.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Because you guys do everything for the exterior of your home, these things can add up. And there are a lot of people who think, I can't afford this. How can the Aluminum Company make it easier?
Yeah, well, Adam, we have plans that are 12 months, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months, which make it super affordable for people to do anything on their home, whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, gutters, any kind of exterior home improvement. The Aluminum Company has financing plans that can fit in your budget and make it easy.
So wait a second. I can get everything done, no interest, and no payments for 12 months?
Yeah, and You get a lifetime warranty once the project's done.
I get a lifetime warranty once the project is done.
Yes, sir.
What about my down payment?
No down payment, no
What?
deposit.
No down payment, no deposit.
No payment until the project's done.
No payment till the project's done.
Exactly.
Where do I sign up? Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
The head man on the football staff for Duke, Manny Diaz, is sitting down with us right now here at ACC Kickoff in Charlotte. Coach, we appreciate your time. We just got done talking to a few of your players. And as I like to do, I asked them for a question that only someone inside the locker room would have for you. So Nate Shepard wanted you to finish this sentence. Time is?
Time is time.
Time is time. He said he had messed that up in front of some people sometimes, so he wanted to test you on that one.
That's a throwback to my start in TV.
Time is time?
That time is time.
Okay,
right?
well, explain it to us. Give us the details.
So
Why
before I was in
something
coaching, I worked at ESPN, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when SportsCenter came on at 11, it doesn't start at 10:56. It starts at 11.
Mm-hmm.
And if your highlight had to go to air at 11:02:30, it didn't go to air at 11:01:30. And so you may still be in the edit bay at 11:01:30, putting the last shot on and then sprinting down the hall. So you got the sense of time is time, and that just organized your brain. And I know it's funny in coaching, you always hear, on time is late or early, and 10 minutes early and all that. And it's never made sense to me, right? Like if that's why we have clocks, right?
Yeah.
If I want to start something at 4 o'clock, it seems like it should start at 4 o'clock. It's disrespectful. I'll say this and I'll get off of it. If we started something at 4 o'clock and you show up at 4:05, I would argue that you're disrespecting our time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I say I need you at 4 o'clock and I start something at 5 till, I feel like I'm disrespecting your time. So at Duke, time is time.
I like that, and it's bucking the trend because every
Early,
youth and high school football coach I've ever had was always if you're early if you're on time you're late.
Just tell me what time. No, when we're there at 4, we're prepared and whatever, but we're not just walking in. But yeah, it's too confusing the other way.
Head coach of the defending ACC champion Duke football team, Manny Diaz, joining us here at ACC Kickoff. Coach, are you tired of replacing your quarterback every year?
Look, if we were replacing him because he wasn't any good, that would be a problem, right? We have a very quarterback-friendly offense. We expect whoever performs in our offense, if they do what we coach them to do, is going to put up huge numbers. Ideally, what I want our quarterbacks to have to leave early to go to the National Football League. So I think this is a problem that comes with success. It's a part of our game right now, and we have the ability to move on and to get a guy like Walker Eaget and to have Dan Mahan on our roster because they believe it. They see it. They're like, oh, yeah, okay, if I do this, whether that's when we were at Miami in this offense, whether SMU with Red, who runs the same offense, it's a quarterback-friendly offense. Quarterback's going to put up numbers. We have broken records back-to-back years at Duke with two different styles of quarterback, and we expect to do the same this year.
Do you, after the way this offseason played out, does Duke still look for or agree to multi-year deals with players?
Of course, yeah, absolutely, okay. Yeah. No, you have to. When it's right, every player is in a unique situation. But you have to understand too is that we're all learning in real time. Everybody is, right? You got to solve 2026 problems with 2026 answers because what it was in 25 or 24, things have changed, and so you have to adapt.
Talking of adapting, Manny Diaz, Duke head football coach. Cooper Barkay last year came from Harvard. This year you get Jared Richardson from Penn. Do you have to shop in the Ivy League for your players?
Well, it helps, right? Because, again, I think it makes us unique at Duke, right? We have, who we attract. We have guys that value a graduate degree, so they play their time in the Ivies. We've had really good success on the defensive line the last couple of years with bringing guys in from the Ivies, linebackers. So, yeah, but I think to have that type of production, the guy that was the leading receiver, I don't think anybody was walking around Charlotte, last July talking about Cooper Barkay. And we really enjoyed him. We really liked him, and I think Jared has a chance to do the same thing.
Some people were talking about like Cooper Barkady and Cooper because they really didn't know, right? He was coming from Harvard. What makes Nate Shepherd so special? Because we also weren't talking a ton about him at this time last year.
Nate hadn't played it down,
but pretty darn quickly that Syracuse game, there was really, you had to talk about him. What makes him so special?
We saw it. Nate was an early enrollee. We did see it a little bit in the springtime. You just don't know. With a freshman back, you've always heard coaches say it's not just playing with the ball in your hand, but playing with the ball out of your hands, pass protection, that type of thing. Nate's very mature. He's very smart, picked up things very quickly. But more than anything, he's very urgent. Young guys usually don't have the urgency. They're just more happy to be there. But Nate can make explosive plays. And, the game is won and lost on explosive plays. So whether, the long runs at Syracuse or the toughness he has, it added an element. And to be honest, when we were at our best, winning the last 4 games of the season, it was Nate first. We ran the football, we protected our defense, and everything we did in the passing game came off of that.
Is that the blueprint for this year? Obviously, replacing a lot of key pieces in the passing game. Right. Is this, run first, run second?
Well, I think it might be oversimplifying it, but look, you always want to run the football. Now, people will understand, and early on, we will have to prove. Look, by the time at Game 4, they understood. They knew we could throw the ball. We knew we had a quarterback and a lot of weapons. It only stands to reason the defenses will try to test us. To try to put a lot of guys. They know who Nate is also, and put a lot of guys around him, and see if we can beat him over the top. And that's why any great offense, what balance isn't 50-50 play calling. Balance is the ability to put the ball where the defense isn't. Defenses can't cover 53 yards of width plus the depth of the field, but you got to have the ability to attack all those places.
We're talking with Manny Diaz, Duke head football coach. Do you feel a little gypped that this year the ACC champion has the auto bid to the CFP, and last year you won the ACC championship before that rule existed?
Well, I feel like the ACC champion, if this league is what we say it is, and in my opinion it is, we shouldn't be talking about tiebreakers. We should be about the fact that it should have been Miami and Duke in the playoff last year. It bothers me that Miami was behind Notre Dame because they had 2 bad losses, quote unquote, to SMU and to Louisville. Those are not bad. How can you look at SMU the last 2 years and saying going to Dallas and losing in overtime is a bad loss? That's disrespecting our conference. Now, if people outside the league say that, that's fine. Louisville goes to Miami, beats Miami. Who else did Louisville play? Oh, James Madison. James Madison went 0-1 against Power 4 teams. Oh, but that was a good loss for them. They competed well. So how can a good loss for JMU be a bad loss for Miami when they're playing the same team? And for the Sun Belt champion to get over the ACC champion is a travesty. Now, I know we own what we screwed up at a conference, but if we had to play their schedule and they'd have played our schedule, I'd like to see how that played out. We won 7 games in this league, right? There's only one team that won 7. That's Virginia. We came here and we beat Virginia. And then we went and beat Arizona State in the bowl game. That to me is the biggest disappointment, and that should never happen again. This league has got to get 2 teams in the college football playoff.
You did start in media because those are all of the conversations we had about good wins and bad losses and everything else.
And that's the part that's what I can't stand, because no matter what anybody says, that is swayed by preseason hype. Mm-hmm. Right? You've already seen strength of schedule, and that's what you can't lose.
Rankings shouldn't even be released until after 5 games, right? Like, you should have to earn your ranking. We could go on and on about that all day, but I do want to talk about something else that the media talks about quite a bit, which is the transfer portal. In your system, there's thousands of names. There's now a Division II quarterback that's going to be starting at Boston College. How do you quite frankly tackle that? Like, what is your structure for sorting through and evaluating all of those players?
Well, number one, we're unique at Duke. I always joke, if the transfer portal is a Walmart, there's only like 1 or 2 aisles we're allowed to shop in, or sections, because of our academic requirements.
Chops it down for you.
But what helps us is, because of our academic prowess, the people that are in those sections, they do like coming to Duke, right? So it's been a good fit. I think our hit rate in the portal over the last 2 years has been really, really good. But that's it. You got to make quick evaluations, and you got to have guys that fit us. We can see how they can plug into our offense. So whether it's bringing in, wideouts we brought in this year and how they can do these exact roles. You have to know who you are to know what you want to attract.
We have to wrap it up here, but I have to ask you because I always do. Luke Murgott's my high school guy. His mom was my math teacher.
That's right, yep.
What does he have as an encore, right? Had some of the most clutch plays of the year for you.
Yeah, I think it's funny when Luke and I have talked about this. When you make plays like that, there can become a tendency now with expectation, right? This time last year, no one had any expectation for Luke. And in this defense, if you just do your job, right, those plays came. Luke made those plays because he did an outstanding job of doing his job, and then he can catch a ball, like fundamentally, right? And so I think it's funny. It's easier said than done. Right, because now when you do have that encore, all of a sudden the first game, I haven't made an interception. Am I doing something wrong? And you can start to press. That a little bit got us last year on defense with some of our top guys. I always say you're trying to hit a grand slam with nobody on base. Look, just make solid contact, trust the bat, trust where the ball goes, and that really is how you got here in the first place.
He was a pretty darn good receiver in high school, so he can definitely catch a ball.
He can catch, yep.
Manny, we appreciate the time, and good luck this season.
Yeah, always good to see you guys. Thanks.
Again, that was Manny Diaz, head coach of Duke, along with Tim Donnelly from The Drive. Back at ACC kickoff back on Friday. Interesting nugget, Max, that you said there about the ACC. ACC needs to value its champion and so on. I think that's the ACC definitely needs to get 2 teams in the college football playoff. And he brings up a fair point. If it's a good loss for JMU to lose to Louisville, then it needs to be a good loss for Miami too. Can't have it both ways. The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox, real quick, for Loan Pronto. Folks, if you have a 2%, 3%, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you could still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash that you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000. They paid off their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, they remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process. And listen, no closing costs. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash that you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, the starting 5, next.
Move your sports day forward.
Soccer put its best foot forward this summer and tried everything it could to not put its foot in its mouth. Stellar play from the world's top stars in Messi and Mbappe, and a cult social media hero in the chiseled Viking Erling Haaland. It's a shame this will all be forgotten for another 4 years. Maybe we could get Shakira and the Muppets to do a yearly halftime show.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This summer, there are 250 reasons to join T-Mobile.
Girls trip? Booked. And switching to T-Mobile helped make it happen.
With Experience Beyond, switch and get $100 back. Plus, $650 in value in built-in plan benefits. That's $750 in your first year, guaranteed.
And honestly, that $100 back, I'm putting it towards the zip line.
Now that's how you do summer.
Exactly. Best switch I ever made.
This is just one reason to join T-Mobile this summer. There are 250 reasons. Find yours.
Savings based on the value of benefits included with Experience Beyond, like entertainment and 1 year of AAA Classic and Dash Pass on us. Benefits may require activation. See plan for details. Get $100 via virtual prepaid MasterCard with eligible ported, no cash access, and expires in 6 months. Issued by Sunrise Banks, N.A. member FDIC. Allow 8 weeks.
Bob Dylan in person.
There must be some way
one night only. July 28th, Red Hat Amphitheater, Raleigh. Bob Dylan. Plus Lucinda Williams and her band. And Jimmy Vaughn and the Tilt-A-Whirl Band. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Bob Dylan Live, plus Lucinda Williams and her band, and Jimmy Vaughn and the Tilt-A-Whirl Band. Show starts promptly at 6:30 p.m.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. Another active day out there. It's a weather alert day. Scattered showers and storms impacting some of you this afternoon and this evening. Expect brief heavy downpours and also the chance for some strong damaging wind gusts.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day down 307 points to 51,839. This hour of The Drive is brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Let's get to the starting five. The starting five brought to you by Baker Home Exteriors for roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Trust the team that's been doing good work for over 100 years. Baker Home Exteriors, roofing the Carolinas since 1915. Max, let's get started with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, folks. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, the starting five. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Scorn, producer of the show. Max, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolutely excited, 1, you don't care. Training camp starts this week. Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 Panthers? Training camp starting this week. Where are you?
Training camp specifically or for the season as a whole upcoming?
Both, yes.
Training camp doesn't get me too excited. I'd say like a 5 or 6.
All right.
Just it signals football coming back, which is cool.
Sure.
I'm bullish on the Panthers this next season, though. I'm going to go for like an 8 for this upcoming season. I know we talked a little. You had a caller during Monday Soundoff saying they might finish 3rd in the division. I think they're going to win the division for a second straight year this year.
All right. That's fair. I think they definitely can. I don't know if I'm as optimistic.
Just depends
as
on the
you
Bucks to me. I don't think the Falcons or the Saints are going to be anything special.
The whole NFC South is a mess. That's the thing. Let's not forget there was a 3-way tie for first, and like the Saints finished 1 game off of that tie as well.
So if you finish 1 game above 500, you probably feel pretty good about your chances.
That's the sad part of the NFC South. Now, rookies report tomorrow to training camp down there at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. Rookies report tomorrow. Veterans report Wednesday. And because of the fact that the Carolina Panthers have the Hall of Fame game, an extra preseason game, they start practice on Thursday. I'll be there. I'm excited to be down there. I feel like this is the season, Max, where it's like this team continues to grow and get better, and they're like a 10-7 team, or they falls flat on their face and they're like 6-11. I don't know. Like, to me, it's like one or the other. I don't know. For some reason, I'm feeling extreme on it in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I'm really torn on this upcoming season for the Panthers because naturally, you expect progression because under Dave Canales, they started with 5 wins. That's much better than the 2 wins that they had the year before under Frank Reich and then the disaster that they had in 2023. The Dave Canales comes in, they get 5 wins. Last year, inconsistent, but you got to 8. Again, they didn't finish the season strong. Once they had their bye week in the last 4 games of the season, They only have one win the last 4 games of the regular season, and then they lost the playoff game as well. So really the last 5 times they took the field, they only won once. And a couple of divisional games were in that mix as well that they lost. So I don't know. I'm a little torn on this upcoming season. But in theory, 5 wins under Dave Canales in his first year, 8 wins under Dave Canales his second year. I mean, in theory, you expect progression to double-digit wins. I just don't think they get there. I just don't think they do. But nonetheless, Panthers training camp, it starts this week. And as Max said, it signifies that football season is back. And 2 weeks from Thursday, we will see guys in Panthers uniforms play football. Now, how many of those guys will actually play in the regular season for the Panthers? Some. My guess is you'll get some of the rookies like Will Lee, some of the other guys like Zakie Wheatley, like some of the mid-round picks, those kinds of guys. They'll play in those games, as they should.
It's good to get a look at those guys.
Should.
I hate preseason sports. I think they should abolish preseasons across the board.
Wow. I see. I'm the opposite. I want
more?
No, I don't want more, but I don't think they. I think they're necessary. But I don't want more, but they are necessary in my opinion. They are, because I speak this from a former athlete standpoint and from a former coach standpoint. I needed a couple of especially like lacrosse. I needed a couple of preseason scrimmages and games to get into the game shape in the field, running up and down the field against another opponent. I needed that just for my own just conditioning, get my body to where it needed to be. It's also as nice to play against other opponents as well. But also from a coaching standpoint, it's nice that you can actually get live game situations against another opponent that you can't just replicate in practice. And even you can't even replicate in controlled scrimmages. Because I know in lacrosse we used to do kind of our version of controlled scrimmages as well, where basically it's all right, we're going to do half field over here, one team's defense versus another team's offense, half field over here, and then the other half of the field, the other team's offense and defense. So again, controlled situations. So it was good to be able to work that, again, against somebody else, but just the actual getting up and down the field, playing, the timing of play calling and all that kind of stuff, you need some repetitions in a pregame setting.
That's
for that.
fair.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, just
I don't want
do it all behind closed doors so we don't have to watch.
That, but there's a lot of money to be made, Max.
No, but making money off that feels wrong. Preseason. Ugh. It's gross.
Maybe you feel the same way about Summer League. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
See, look at that. Golden State. They didn't win NBA titles, but they're still winning Summer League titles. Max, how do you feel about the Summer League in that regard, though? Because, again, you say you're not a big fan of preseason. I think the Summer League is good because it's a chance for rookies to kind of get used to, again, the pace of play in the NBA. It's a chance for rookies, again, to get more court time. Guys like for example, Quadir Copeland for the Houston Rockets back on Saturday had 24 points. At 24 points. These guys are trying to earn jobs. Do you feel the same way about the Summer League?
I enjoy watching it a little more just because I think it does showcase more of the rookies and young players a little bit more. Plus, it's happening in a particularly dead part of the sports calendar, typically in the middle of summer. And Summer League particularly is good for it's almost like if you're attending, right? It's almost like a basketball conference. Everybody from the NBA world and basketball world kind of converges on Las Vegas for a couple of weeks to see these games. So, I would say I prefer it to traditional preseason games in whatever league. It's not top of my list in terms of, A1 viewing or anything, but definitely more tolerable. I went out there last year actually to watch a Hornets preseason game with, I don't know if Concanipple actually played, but that was the idea anyway, to go and see some of the Hornets' young talent. Because I actually hadn't seen a Hornets win in person in 4 or 5 years last summer, which is kind of sad to say because I've split season tickets for the last 4 seasons. But it's a little bit better than a regular preseason for me, anyway.
That's fair. I think that's fair, especially because a lot of the guys that you see play in the summer league, again, you'll see rookies. A lot of guys will end up in the G League, but there are guys that are just signed to teams for the summer league.
Yeah, a lot of good college players too, which is I'm a big college basketball fan. So to see some of those familiar names from the college game that may not have the biggest pro prospects be able to kind of showcase their stuff, I enjoy that as well.
Like RJ Davis, I think signed with the Spurs, was playing with the Spurs summer league team, and just those guys getting the opportunity to continue to play. And again, try and earn themselves the opportunity to, even if they don't, let's say, latch onto an NFL, to an NHL. Good Lord, they don't have a chance to latch onto an NBA team necessarily. Maybe they latch onto a G League team, an affiliate, or they showcase themselves out for, again, a lot of these international clubs that are looking for players as well. You could have a pretty lucrative career playing overseas in basketball. You really can. So some of these guys, again, are trying to earn those opportunities for themselves as well. All right, that's number 4 in the big. Max, I filled in for Adam Gold, and it was a last-second pinch hit for Tim Donnelly today. This is my 6th hour of radio today, so if I misspeak on some things, please forgive me out there. This is my 6th hour of doing radio today. That's number 4 on the starting 5. Let's get to number 3. Ah, yes, NASCAR at North Wilkesboro. First time in 30 years, Max, that at North Wilkesboro Speedway. By the way, shout out to one of our listeners, William out there in Wilson, who was called in earlier during Monday Soundoff to talk about the race in North Wilkesboro. But Joey Logano wins the race. First time in 30 years that there's actually been a race that actually counts to the point standings, an actual points race at North Wilkesboro in 30 years. 30 years. Max, you weren't even alive. 30 years. Now, they've had some all-star races and things along those lines and some showcase events during that time, but for the longest time, if anyone's ever driven out to Boone, Blowing Rock, that area, let's say, in this building, Max, we have several App State graduates. If you ever driven from really anywhere in central or eastern North Carolina out to Boone, you drive by North Wilkesboro. You drive by the Speedway. You could see it from the highway. You see the big grandstand and everything, and the fact that it's back up and running. And I actually had a chance to at ACC kickoff down in Charlotte this past week. A lot of members of the media that work in the Triad out in Greensboro, Winston-Salem, High Point, that were there covering the race all week, popped down to Charlotte on Friday because Wake Forest was talking to media as well as Duke and Carolina. So they popped down and they said, yep, we're just popping down in here real quick, but it's race week. It's race week for us. But yeah, we're going to pop down here and obviously do all the stuff we got to do for, ACC kickoff and everything like that. But we're getting right back up to the Speedway for race week. And you can hear the excitement in their voice as well. Just people that live in that area and just how much that Speedway means to that region of the state. Max, again, you're from Winston-Salem. I know North Wilkesboro's, it's just right down the road. 35, 40 minutes or so away? But in that area, it means a lot to a lot of people, Max.
Yeah, rich racing history with the Winston Cup and obviously the Madhouse at Bowman Gray. So there's great racing history and culture there in the Piedmont and as you get up towards the mountains in North Wilkesboro as well. So good to see them coming back for a meaningful points race during the regular season and bring a second regular season race to the state of North Carolina for the schedule.
I mean, just this region of the country, Virginia, North Carolina, and I'll filter into Bristol, Tennessee as well, because you have Richmond, you have Martinsville, Bristol's on the Tennessee side. Obviously, Bristol sits on both Virginia and Tennessee, but it's on the Tennessee side of the racetrack. We have North Wilkesboro and Charlotte. It's like all within like 5 pretty notable tracks, all within a relatively short distance of each other. This region of the United States is rich when it comes to NASCAR, and I need to get out there for a race at some point. I really do. I really do. All right, that's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Ryan Fox, first time major winner. Ryan Fox wins the Open Championship, 10 under par, his final score. Max, as you heard it right there, the clip that you just played there, he birdies the final hole. Birdies the final hole. Hole number 72. He birdies it to win it by 1 stroke over Wake Forest University's own Cameron Young, who finished at 9 under. Cameron Young bogeyed the 18th hole. Ryan Fox birdied the 18th hole. Ryan Fox, after the tournament, after the Open Championship, was asked on that approach, like just his mindset going in, and the fact that he hit 2 great shots to get onto the green and sinks the putt on his 3rd shot on that par 4 18. He was asked, was that the best hole of golf he's ever played?
Definitely the first part. I mean, I hit 2 shots exactly how I wanted to hit them. I didn't feel anything for the putt. Everything was shaking that much. I was just happy to hit it somewhat near the hole, and to see it go in was incredible. But, I did say to my caddy, Dean, on the tee that we were going to take it on, that I was going to try to win the tournament, and I'd live with the consequences if I stuffed it up. And, to go out there and execute, that drive's not a very comfortable tee shot, obviously. And to hit it in the fairway and give myself a chance was huge. And then I landed on a good number. I think I had 160 meters to the hole. The breeze was a little down off the left. Obviously, everything's a bit jumped up there, so it was just a solid 9. And I hit it exactly where I wanted to hit it. And I think I screamed at it, please be good in the air. And it was. And to cap it off with the putt, everyone practices on the green, I guess. You've got a putt to hold a major championship or to win the Open. It's not like that in real life. It's not a very comfortable feeling, but it's certainly very enjoyable when you see it go in.
Imagine not even feel the puck because you're shaking so much, but still have the poise to hit it. Max, I absolutely love the fact that he told his caddy going into that hole, I'm going for the win. I'll live with the consequences. Whatever it might be. If I blow it, I blow it. I'll live with it. If I sink this thing and I win it, great. If I par this hole and I go to a playoff, so be it. But I'm going for the damn thing. And I give Ryan Fox a ton of credit for having that mindset, especially when you've never won a major before. Because there's a different mindset. I used to tell my players this when I was coaching a lot. I used to tell them this often. There's a mindset of going for it, like going for the win, or playing not to lose. Because if Ryan Fox goes up there on that 18th hole and he tees it off and he plays it safe, it's like, okay, I'll play it safe, and, if I get a birdie, great, but you know what? If I get par, awesome. It means I'm still playing golf. That's playing not to lose. I'm going for this thing. I'm going for the win. And sure enough, like you heard him say, his first 2 shots exactly the way he wanted them to be. Exactly the way he wanted them to be. And but still feel and openly admit, I was feeling the pressure. Go for it. Now, it's one thing to go for it, but it's another thing to be reckless. Again, there's a balance there. Like, there's going for it, but also like understanding your limits. But he went for it, and he rewarded himself. Rewarded himself with the win. $3.2 million, Max. Ryan Fox. $3.2 million. Again, Cameron Young out of Wake Forest University finishing in 2nd at 9 under par. Scotty Scheffler, because I know a lot of people care about him. 7 under par. Max, 3 top 5 finishes for Scotty Scheffler?
Yeah, I think he had a couple T4s and a second at the Masters. I don't think he finished as high up at the PGA, but decent year in terms of results, but felt a little underwhelming just because he set himself like such a crazy high standard over the last couple of years.
If that's mediocre for golf, I wish I was mediocre at golf. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
The one!
In the 106th minute, Spain finally broke through with a goal that counted. With the 106th minute, they win 1-0 over Argentina in a game let's be honest, they dominated. Absolutely dominated. And speaking more on it, Herculez Gomez, formerly of the U.S. men's national team, talked about what impressed him so much about Spain's run to a World Cup title.
Portugal came across their road, and it was easy work. Belgium came across their road, very light work. And then after that, you get a team like France, who was, well, in everybody's eyes, the favorite in this tournament, and they dominate France with the ball. And you're thinking, okay, how about the final? How about with a player like Lionel Messi? How about with a player who's the all-time great in this sport? And they do it again. Argentina was pitiful, disgraceful, whatever adjective you want to use in this game, because of Spain and how dominant they were with the ball. They never let Argentina into this game. They dictated play, and finally, football won. When they had to win the game, they did what was necessary, and they put Argentina to bed. But I'm most impressed with how dominant they were. Defensively, only 1 goal against, and it's not like it's just the defenders we're talking about. A complete performance for a team that has stars, but didn't have one single star, if I'm being honest, in this tournament. It was a team effort. Collectively, they were unbelievable.
They were pretty awesome. 1 goal, Max. They gave up 1 goal in 8 games. Just 1. Just dominant. It was amazing to watch world-class teams with world-class players just struggle to string together like 3 passes in a row against Spain. 3. Not even like their back line barely even able to string together multiple passes. It was amazing. Now, this is a Spain team that won the Euro Championship in 2024, obviously won the World Cup in 2026. Would not shock me if they win the Euros in 2028. Would not shock me one bit. I think one of my favorite players, by the way, we do have to give a shout out here to Emiliano Martinez, the Argentinian goalkeeper. World Cup final record, 11 saves. 11 saves. 11. A World Cup final record. He made 11 saves. He gave Argentina a chance.
Yeah. And when
gave him a chance.
They were otherwise getting absolutely dominated.
Crushed.
He came up big, too. There was the Lamine Yamal free kick chance at the very end of regulation.
I was just about to bring that up.
Pretty well-placed shot. And, again, Emi Martinez was up to the task. There's a reason he won the Golden Glove at the last World Cup as the best goalkeeper. I'm not sure. Honestly, even if they had won in penalties, that probably still would have gone to Unai Simon for Spain, just because, again, they only would have given up 1 goal in their other parts of the tournament up until that ending. But Emi Martinez had a great performance. I think a lot of the Spain shots during regulation were kind of right in the middle of the goal and kind of right at him. But he was up to the task for whatever he faced up until that goal. It was nicely set up on the header from Nico Williams, and Ferran Torres buried it. And it was only a matter of time with how much Spain was dominating. It was crazy how much it flipped, though, as soon as the goal went in for Spain. Other than the second one that got called off for offside, Argentina came to life after that. They were like, oh, now we're down? Now we can actually have some scoring chances.
For it here.
And now that we're down to 10 men, too, I don't know what was stopping them from at some point, something switched and they had a little bit of danger. Still no shots on target, but I guess the desperation really kicked in at the end there, and they had a little momentum, but Spain was just too much.
I thought Argentina was like, if they're going to pull another one out, they're going to pull another one of these out of their butts. Like, goodness. Like, man, like you watch, like, wow, they're going to tie this game, and then all of a sudden it's going to go to PKs. They're going to win in PKs after getting dominated. But that's not the case. Spain, your World Cup champions. By the way, on a scale of 1 to 10, Max, 10 being amazing, 1 being a dud, what was this World Cup to you?
It was pretty good. It was pretty entertaining. Kind of a win, I think, for the new format with the 48 teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was better than the one in 2022, although that final was awesome. I think there were a lot of other good games in this one.
Argentina, France, yeah.
I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, okay, so it was solid 9 for me.
I think the standard that it's trying to live up to is probably, at least it's like, maybe it's nostalgia speaking, but to me, like 2010, like that was the one in South Africa. That one was awesome. Just had all the good vibes, all the aura, like, and we're still trying to replicate that in every World Cup sense. But it was a good time. I'm sad that it's over. I'm sad that there's no more games to get us through these dog days of summer. So 4 more years, and then we're back in, I think it's Spain and Portugal.
Spain,
are hosting,
Portugal, Morocco.
And Morocco. So hopefully the U.S. men's national team will figure their stuff out by then, but not counting on it.
I won't hold your breath till then. That's for darn sure. That's the starting 5 presented by Baker Home Exteriors. We do good work at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. That's the Baker name, Baker Home Exteriors. Time for us to play the numbers game, Max. Call 919-860-5326. We need a pair of contestants for the numbers game. Call 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and win a pair of tickets to see Skillet at Piedmont Hall in Greensboro on July 31st. 2 contestants, 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. Chance to compete in the numbers game and win a pair of tickets to see Skillet at Piedmont Hall in Greensboro on July 31st. 2 contestants. Call right now, 919-860-5326. Numbers game coming up.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
A lot has changed since 1915. The way the Baker family treats people hasn't. They've roofed the Carolinas for over 100 years. The motto puts it plainly: we shall do good work, at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. Trust the team that's kept that promise for generations. Baker Home Exteriors. Always good work. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com.
Hi friends, this is Mark Pons from Chapel Hill Tire. There's nothing quite like a North Carolina summer, unless of course your air conditioning decides to stop working. If your AC isn't blowing cold, is making strange noises, or just isn't keeping up with the heat, now's the time to have it checked. This month, take advantage of our summer AC special, save $40, and let our ASC certified technicians make sure you're ready for the hottest days of the year. Schedule your appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
At Wake Orthopedics Urgent Care, we spend days, nights, and weekends in 3 convenient locations providing specialized care for kids and adults. Sprains and strains, shoulders and knees, fractures, hammies, and more. All that and all without an appointment. Walk in or limp in, either way you'll get the care you need whenever you need it. Visit us today at wakemed.org.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. it gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process. And listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. It is time to play the numbers game. We had a little phone glitch, so we reset things. We should be good to go here, Max. We need 2 contestants for the numbers game. 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. Call 919-860-5326. We still need a pair of contestants for the numbers game. Compete in the numbers game, and you can earn a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Skillet at Piedmont Hall in Greensboro on July 31st. We have a pair of contestants. And you can win a pair of tickets to see Skillet at Piedmont Hall in Greensboro on July 31st. So call them right now. We get 2 contestants. Chance to call in. As we wait for those contestants, I know we got 1 calling in right now. Might have a second one calling in. Don't wait, folks. Let's see, our first contestant. I know Max is getting our first contestant on the line. We have Hunter and Raleigh. So Hunter and Raleigh is going to be our first, one of our 2 contestants here. We also have a second contestant coming up here as well. So we have to figure out who goes first here in the numbers game. We have Hunter and Raleigh. We also have Alex out there in Princeton. All right, so let's get both our contestants out here ready to go. All right, so we have Hunter and Raleigh and Alex in Princeton. There are 2 contestants here to compete and play in the numbers game. We need to figure out who goes first. So let's get Hunter. We're going to ask them both the same question to determine who goes first. Max is going to choose his favorite answer. Let's go to Hunter and Raleigh. Hunter, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, Hunter. Same question we ask every single Monday. What was the highlight of your weekend, but it has to be sports related?
Highlight was seeing, honestly, see Spain win. I actually was pulling for Spain. I think they were the most consistent team, so I was honestly really excited to see them win the World Cup.
Okay, Spain winning the World Cup. Max, any questions? No follow-up questions from Max. Let's go to Alex in Princeton. Alex, same question for you. What was the highlight of your weekend, but keep it sports related?
Ryan Fox winning the Open.
All right, give Ryan Fox winning the Open Championship. Max, any follow-up questions here? All right, Max, you determine. Which is your favorite to determine who goes first? You got Hunter with Spain winning the World Cup, or Alex, Ryan Fox winning the Open Championship?
It's tough because these are really the only 2 possible answers from the weekend. I mean, other than, I guess, the third place game on Saturday, which actually was pretty
I don't know.
fun.
It could have been Joey Logano winning at North Wilkes.
Yeah, it could have been the NASCAR race as well. But being the golfer at Hardwell, I gotta have to go with the golf answer. So we'll let Alex get the nod here.
All right. So Alex and Princeton, you go first. Don't worry, Hunter, you stay on the line. By the way, our tiebreaker is determined by who goes first. Okay. So Alex, you're gonna go first. Alex and Princeton again. Hunter and Raleigh, you stay on the line. All right, Alex. We need to determine your category. Alex, are you there? You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Here are your categories, Alex, to choose from. We have all-time Carolina Panthers. We have Major League Baseball sacrifice kings. These are players who led leagues in sacrifice bunts. We also have NBA Kyrie Irving's teammates. This is, again, all-time teammates of Kyrie Irving. And also Carolina Hurricanes throughout history.
Carolina Panthers.
All right, Carolina Panthers. These are all-time Carolina Panthers. I'm going to give you the name of the player. I'm still going to say the team name, even though we know the category, to keep timing fair on both sides. I'll give you the name of the player and the team. You give us the jersey number. 30 seconds on the clock. You do have 1 pass. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir. I'm good.
All right, Alex and Princeton, your time will start when you hear the horn. DJ Chark, Carolina Panthers.
17.
Correct. Stephen Davis, Carolina Panthers.
48.
Correct. John Beeson, Carolina Panthers.
53?
Incorrect. Chris Jenkins, Carolina Panthers.
97?
Incorrect. John Beeson, Carolina Panthers.
52?
Correct. Nick Goings, Carolina Panthers.
Pass?
Chris Jenkins, Carolina Panthers.
92?
Incorrect. You got DJ Chark, correct, 17, which, by the way, he only played one season with the Panthers. That disaster of a 2023 season. Steven Davis, part of that original duo running backs, him and Deshaun Foster, wore number 48. John Beeson, you said 53 initially. You came back. You got it correct with 52. Chris Jenkins, 77 is the number we were looking for. You did say 97 the first time you had Chris Jenkins. So I'm like, okay, he's on the right track with the 7 in there. But 77 is what we're looking for Chris Jenkins. And Nick Goins, whom you passed on, wore both 36 and 37 in a Panther uniform. So you got 3 out of 5. It's a solid score, Alex. You're the leader in the clubhouse. So we're going to put you on hold, and we're going to bring up Hunter and Raleigh. Hunter, you there?
Yeah.
All right, Hunter. You know how this works. You need to pick a category. Again, you still have Major League Baseball, Sacrifice Kings. Again, players who led Major League Baseball, led leagues in sacrifice bunts. NBA, Kyrie Irving's teammates, again, teammates of Kyrie Irving throughout his career, or Hurricanes throughout history.
Let's do Kyrie Irving.
Okay. These are NBA players, Kyrie Irving's teammates. Now, he's played for 8 teams in his career. Same situation, 30 seconds on the clock. You need to get at least 4, okay? Because tie goes to whomever goes first. So 3 doesn't do you any good. You need to get at least 4. If you can get all 5, try and get all 5 in 30 seconds. You do get 1 pass, Hunter. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right, I'll give you the name of the player, the team. You give us the jersey number. Your time will start when you hear the horn. LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers.
23.
Correct. Klay Thompson, Dallas Mavericks.
11.
Incorrect. Tristan Thompson, Cleveland Cavaliers.
13.
Correct. LaMarcus Aldridge, Brooklyn Nets.
7.
Incorrect. Klay Thompson, Dallas Mavericks.
5.
Incorrect. LaMarcus Aldridge, Brooklyn Nets.
12.
Incorrect. Klay Thompson, Dallas Mavericks.
8.
Incorrect. LaMarcus Aldridge, Brooklyn Nets.
10.
Incorrect. Klay Thompson, 31 is the number we're looking for Klay Thompson. You got LeBron correct, 23. You got Tristan Thompson, Cleveland Cavaliers, 13. Tristan Thompson, again, 13. Klay Thompson, 31. I think you said 11, I remember correctly, initially. LaMarcus Aldridge, you were close. At one point, you said 12. You were 21 with the Brooklyn Nets. So you were close in that regard. Just got the numbers just mixed up there just a little bit. You got 2. It was a solid showing, but Hunter, not quite enough. I appreciate you participating and playing. Good, and honestly, try again later on this week.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Our winner, Alex in Princeton. Alex, congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Alex. If you had to pick, because I know you chose as your weekend highlight, Ryan Fox winning the Open Championship. If there's one major you could win, which one would it be?
Probably the Masters.
Correct answer. That's correct answer. Because it's the only major that actually plays the same course year in and year out. Yeah, the Masters is the correct answer. Alex, congratulations, sir. Stay on the line. Max has some information he's got to get from you. That way he can get the tickets to you, all right? Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So that's Alex in Princeton. Wins a pair of tickets to see Skillet at Piedmont Hall in Greensboro on July 31st. The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show. Last week at ACC kickoff, we caught up with Pitt head coach Pat Narduzzi, who dropped a heck of a doozy about Darian Mensah and Miami football. We'll have that conversation next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Jalen Hurts is the most disrespected quarterback of any quarterback in the NFL. It's ridiculous. Sirianni and Hurts, what's going on? Hurts' teammates don't like him as much as they like AJ Brown. I'm walking in the supermarket yesterday. You know what? I looked up to my left, and what did I see? A big Wheaties box with Jalen Hurts on the cover. And I sat there with a smile and a smirk on my face because this guy is going to get everybody this year.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar. The better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. So good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Head to Refuel for great deals on all your favorite Pepsi products. Stock up on Pepsi at Refuel today.
It's your turn to play with the new Scratch Off, Fast Play, and Digital Instance games from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Spin your way toward a $200,000 Scratch Off top prize, or go for a jackpot with Digital Instance and Fast Play. Plus, enter for a chance to win a VIP trip for two to see Wheel of Fortune in LA. Come on, big money! Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.76 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Raleigh, the appetite for destruction returns. Guns N' Roses. World Tour 2026. One night. Carter Finley Stadium, Raleigh. July 23rd. With special guest, Public Enemy. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Presented by Live Nation.
Continuing our coverage here at ACC Kickoff, we have a ACC football head coach, Pitt's Pat Narduzzi, sitting down with us. We were just talking off air, and it was the perfect time to jump on air because you said our quarterback has it. And my first question was going to be about Mason Heinschel. So when you said, we just came out with getting jiggy with it. When you say he has it, what do you mean by that when you're evaluating quarterbacks? And you've coached some good ones. We were talking about Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, he's got it because of just the attitude he takes in the building every day. We knew he had it when he was the third or fourth string quarterback as a true freshman last year. And then we had some quarterback issues after game 4, really after game 3 and game 4, and decided to make a change and didn't go to the backup, went down the line to the guy that had it. And Mason Heinschel has got it. He's a leader. He's a natural leader. You don't have to teach him how to lead. Mm-hmm. I've had to teach quarterbacks how to command the huddle, how to talk in the huddle, how to present themselves in a team meeting, how to take control of all situations. This kid's a natural. I mean, he's a natural in every. And that, to me, that's what it is. You can be a great quarterback, and when he walks in a team room, when he walks on that field, people listen to him. It's like that old commercial. Remember E.F. Hutton? You two guys too young.
E.F. Hutton? I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Man, you guys don't know. You're too young. When E.F. Hutton speaks, people listen. Okay, you got to go back to that.
All right, I'll look it up.
You guys can Google that later on. You'll laugh. But it was a great commercial. But when Mason Heinschel talks, people listen, and that's who he is.
So I believe I saw some comments from you earlier that you weren't the only person that noticed that Mason had it, and there may have been some other teams poking around. How does that develop? Does he come to you and say, like, hey, just so you know, like, I've heard some things and some people little birdies have talked to me?
Well, he came to my office, saying, Coach, you ain't going to believe this. I've got an offer, such and such. And I said, hey, forget about it, okay? Like, have a short memory. I said, listen, you are Pitt man. I said, give me a couple hours, and we'll get this thing straightened out. I said, you're not going anywhere. You're staying here. You're a Pitt guy. You fit our offense. People love you here. You don't need to be doing all that stuff. So 2 hours later was a done deal, and he tweeted out on Thursday. The portal closed on Friday at midnight. We had him back in, and then they moved right on to that next player, and they ended up getting Duke's quarterback.
I don't know if that's an interesting tip. So it's kind of known, right? If you have really good players, other teams are poking around. When Mason comes to you, that has to be a great feeling, right? Like there's that open. When you have good players and they aren't coming to you, does that make you worried? Because
there's no question.
Because you know that the poking around is
and
happening.
You got no chance to talk or help. So when your players got a relationship with the coaches and they can come in and talk to you about anything, that's when you know you got the right people. And he's a loyal kid. He was loyal in high school. and he's loyal now at Pitt, and that's what you want, and that's what the NFL wants someday. NFL doesn't want a guy that's bouncing around like an idiot, to a bunch of different places.
So we talked with the quarterback from Duke that I guess ended up taking that slot, and the reasons he gave us were he wants to win a national championship and he wants to be a top 5 pick. When your quarterback has a similar interest from another team and doesn't take it, does that up the pressure on you to make sure, like, if he has first top 5 pick potential, that you get him there?
Yeah, I think people get the misconception that you can I'll go there and win a championship. You can win a championship anywhere.
ACC champion gets in the CFP automatic.
You can go down there and be a disaster too. I mean, it can totally But what I don't people go for the money. Okay, so the one thing he didn't talk about is he went for the money. Let's not kid ourselves here.
It's underlying everything in college football is the cash.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the guys that make decisions on money will lose. Okay, and the guys that make it, because guess what? Manny Diaz did a great job with him, coaching him and put him where he is. Now you're going to go learn a whole new offense. What if you don't? And these agents push these kids to go in different directions. You know why? Because the agent's making more money. If I force you to go to such and such place and I know I can get you more money there, you go there. How about the fit? How about the coaching? How about the relationships? Do relationships matter anymore? That's a bad deal, because if you don't have a good relationship with your quarterback coach and things go the wrong way, I know Manny was going to hang with them. So those are all the situations. But these agents don't care because, hey, I'm getting 20% if you go, so I get to make more money. All they care about is themselves. They don't care about these kids. And the relationships and your teammates, all those things matter. And I think people make major mistakes. And I think decision-making is so important. I talk to our guys about decision-making so much, whether it's on the field or off the field. Head coaches taking jobs or not taking jobs. I've done a great job with decision-making throughout my career. Never been fired, and I've taken the right job. I've turned down more jobs than I've taken. And, just because I'm not looking, let's go. No, I've stayed and been loyal as well.
Pat Narduzzi, Pitt head football coach, joining us here on the drive at ACC Kickoff. We were talking off air. We covered the Carolina Panthers. A couple of guys' names popped up. Pat Jones is here. He's obviously facing some adversity. Pat Jones, a defensive lineman for the Panthers. What about him from his Pitt days makes you think the injury and everything will be overcome? He'll have a big year this year.
Oh, I think he's a worker, first of all. So injury's temporary. He's got that fixed. He feels great. And, and again, that talks about relationship. Like, he last played during COVID 2020. It's 2026, and he's coming here to visit his head coach.
Yep.
To me, that's what makes that relationship special. The coaching. But like if Pat would have left in his senior year to go somewhere else, like he ain't coming here. Like there's
and he's probably not going there either. Wherever he went, it's not enough time.
Exactly. So those to me are things that you just can't replace. And when he comes back for another game when his career is over. He's going to be celebrated in the city of Pittsburgh. A lot of these kids aren't being celebrated anywhere. In 20 years, what's it going to be like?
And if he's good enough,
where's your reunion? What reunion are you going to? Who are you taking? What place are you taking your kids to? What school are you going to?
If he's good enough with the Carolina Panthers, he could go there. But college is finite, right?
Yeah.
At least for now, eligibility is finite. We also talked about Kenny Pickett off air, another guy that's with the Panthers. Coming in as a backup role, what does Kenny bring? If Bryce is the guy, what does Kenny bring to that facility?
Competition. I think competition makes everybody better, and he's a competitor. He wants to play. Kenny Pickett's an outstanding football player, and I think just like we were talking about a relationship and being in a right fit. I mean, wherever it may be, I see some Krispy Kreme donuts going around over here. It's kind of making me hungry right there. Might have to dig into one of those.
Your players are also noticing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, trust me. They're at the top of the escalator.
Oh,
I
shoot.
found them already.
I'm going to hit a couple of those. But, but that relationship, he's got to find the right place. And I'm praying with David Tepper and that staff here in Carolina that this is the place. But he's had great opportunities, being a first rounder with the Steelers. Then he goes and wins a Super Bowl with the Eagles. The Eagles did not want to trade him. He begged to be traded because he wanted to compete. And he felt like he wasn't going to have a chance to beat out Jalen Hurts. So I think there's some misconceptions about, like, they just got rid of him. No, they wanted him to stay. And they said, hey, look, we're not trading you. And he begged, and they said, if it's good for us, we'll trade you. But if it's not good for us, we're not making that move. And then you go to the Browns and you go to the Raiders. You pull Hammy in Cleveland. So to me, it's just getting the right fit in, whether it's a high school or a quarterback in college transferring. You can get the wrong fit real quick. I mean, if you're in the right fit, why are you leaving? So that's the same thing with Kenny. I mean, Kenny's going to be a great player for the Panthers. I hope if he spends 3 years here, it's going to be a great thing for Carolina.
Pat Narduzzi, Pitt head football coach, joining us here at ACC Kickoff on The Drive. You were one of the teams that was in that tie for the ACC championship. The tiebreakers last year didn't go your way. The commissioner, Jim Phillips, announced that the new one this year, full body of work was used. There's going to be some analytics involved, an analytics company involved. What do you think of the new way that the ACC is going to decide if there is a tiebreaker that can't be decided by head-to-head, which one of you gets the opportunity?
I haven't read it. I have no idea.
Some people have read it, and they still don't have much of an idea.
Yeah, I mean, you can read it. They had analytics was involved in it, that sports company.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was involved last year, so I don't have a whole lot of faith in a tiebreaker. So our goal is to go win it outright and not have a problem with it, period. Just get there. And if we beat Louisville last year, we're in the darn thing anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. So we should have been 7-1. We're up 17-0, and we have a questionable call. And Louisville gets the ball at the 3-yard line, and we lost momentum. And that's where, we're up 17-0. If we win that game, we're 7-1, and we're in the ACC championship game.
And that's the coach way to think about it, right? If we just win the games, we don't have to worry
about
it.
a damn tiebreaker. And I'm not making that, when it comes to Selection Sunday, I'm not making a decision anyway on the tiebreaker, so.
Last question for you. We appreciate your time, but we've talked with a few coaches here, and I'm fascinated by the overwhelmingness of the portal, just how many names there are, and how you even figure out which ones to pursue. So within your program, thousands of names, different levels, players with connections, without connections. How do you guys handle the sorting through of it all?
Yeah, well, obviously the first thing is, what are your needs? That's number one. What are your needs? Then you go after your needs, and you're watching videotape of all these guys on tape, and we got a player personnel department that looks into it. We don't tamper. We're one of the schools that don't tamper. We're not going.
I think all schools say that.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Well, we'll believe you. You look me in the eye when you say it. I got you.
We do not tamper. Our player personnel, staff is not that big that we could tamper. We don't have time for it. So, but I think we took 16 kids out of the portal, which is minimal. I think there's 70 Power 4 teams, and there's 51 of them had more guys in the portal than we did. So, when you don't have that many in there, you can spend more time on what are your needs, what are you pulling out of the portal, and it's not easy, but just getting the right people. It's not about the tallest guy, the fastest guy. It's about the guy that fits your scheme. And we're about 88% win when it goes into the portal. Our guys are coming in and making plays and playing for us. We're not taking guys for depth. We're taking guys that can come in and help us win.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Good luck this season.
You got it, guys. Appreciate it. Hail to Pitt.
Again, that's Pat Narduzzi, the head coach of Pitt football, that joined us back on Friday during ACC kickoff. Max, he said something very, very interesting. The fact that he said that his quarterback, Mason Herschel, had an offer, wasn't in the transfer portal, but had an offer. And Pat Narduzzi said, let me take care of this. Made a couple calls. Basically, I'm assuming found him some more money, which they did. Doesn't go in the transfer portal to Mason Herschel, doesn't accept the offer. And then he drops then they just turn around and went and got Duke's quarterback. I was like, oh, so it was Miami. It was Miami. Which I actually I'm gonna carefully say this, Max. I did have someone very high up in a football program in the ACC describe Miami, some of the tactics of what they use to poach players as
unsavory.
Scumbag was the term that was given to me. Yeah, scumbag was the term that was given to me. So anyway, Miami not very highly thought of among its peers in the coaching world. I'll just leave it at that. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show today. Thank you all for listening. I did this for 6 straight hours today, and if you were here for all 6, you're the real ones. We'll see you tomorrow on The Fan.
The Adam Gold Show.
Don't buy this line that Carolina only won the cup because Florida was too